Bruh.
I don't know. Words are hard. Words are. I was like, oh my god, Zeeker! And I said Seeker. Hi, Seeker and Snappy and Sixer. Welcome, guys. Welcome, welcome. That's what I get for multitasking. I'm sitting here trying to do my go live notifications, and somehow I'm just like, yeah, words are hard. So let me do this thing with stuff and see if I fail at this. I'm just gonna send it to everybody. Why not? I didn't do it, Rose. Let's see. Alrighty. Da, 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 da. Send. How goes it? Thank you for the lurk, Dad. Nico, Nico, Nico. Thank you. Welcome to, Ghost Farm, aka Hacks Farm. Yes, it's sort of hacked, it's just modded. We have ghosts on here if you didn't get to see them in the past. And I also have the lovely Lemon and Lady with me today as we're farming. So let me go grab them so you can hear their wonderful voices. Hi, ladies, we are live.
Hi.
We have the lovely Lemon and the lovely Lady. I'm seeking the Seeker because Zeker is seeking to see how Zeke is doing. I hope you're doing well, man. I hope you're doing well. Thank you, Nico, Nico, thank you. Welcome. Yeah, let me get some shoutouts for you guys. And the Zeker And Sixer, when are you gonna stream again, Sixer? Zeker, I lurk on your streams often. Thanks for the lurk, Matthew. And I think Matthew, you stream, right? I don't remember. Well, how do I not know this? I used to. Used to doesn't count, Matthew. Just kidding.
Rude.
Are you going to stream again? I know, that was very rude of me. There we go. That was very rude of me. There, in case you change your
Ask people
mind.
if they're gonna stream again. That's rude.
No pressure. No pressure.
I mean, I did ask Sixer when he was going to stream again because he's a slacker.
He doesn't count.
He's one of my mods, so I control him.
Yeah, exactly.
No, SOs, my content is garbage. Seeker, your content is not garbage. Oh, right. I just now got all Ray's messages on Snap. I'm terrible.
It's okay. It's fine.
Well, my feelings. We need some hugs in chat because I have brought individuals to tears, so we need some hugs. There, I hugged Dash. And I hugged Dash again. And I'm all hugging Dash today. And bots. There we go. Oh, there you go, Matthew. You finally get a hug. I'm streaming again in 30 years. Okay, there you go. We expect it in 30 years. We're writing it on the calendar right now. But yes. Oh, I gotta give cookies out. Cookies. Add Dash, you get 500 cookies. And why not do double cookies today? Cookies. Add Matthew. 500 cookies, and I am not giving the bot cookies. Bots don't need cookies.
Bots are people too.
Yeah.
Except not really.
Debatable.
Alright. Let's see.
I remembered.
Chicken. And let's see.
Rose, where are you?
I'm at the beach.
Okay.
Hi, y'all are amazing. No, you are. Oh, catch Pokemon, guys. Catch. They're actually playing. I'm just being a bum. I need to finish my shoutouts.
Oh, thanks.
Let's see.
Magic of mod.
Thank you.
Oh, I just
Now I
grabbed a
can have
huge
it.
stack of sandfish.
Do I not have any Pokeballs?
I was like waiting for the bus.
We have an hour left though, because Mono has
I
an
know.
pause time.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what?
I left it paused because I haven't started yet.
There we go.
Oh, fastball. Nice. I like
Oh,
that
it doesn't
Pokemon
let
a
me,
lot.
that's right.
Zoru? What? I don't love you because you're trying to do what? What did I say?
What?
What did I say?
I don't know.
I thought you said Mono doesn't love me.
I don't know.
Dad?
I don't even know anymore.
Are you also waiting outside Haley's house?
Oh no! Okay. Alright, you know what?
I can't move time forward, so.
You know what?
We're not.
Here we go.
We're not trying to rush you, Mono. It's just funny.
There. Okay, it's now 9
Thank you.
o'clock.
Thank God.
Go do your things. I was thinking the time to do things was 8 for some reason. Seeker! Lurky Seeker. Hey, I caught the Pokemon. Thank you for
Bitch
the
isn't
lurk,
even in
Seeker.
our house.
Ah, Matthew didn't catch it.
She's not.
It was so good to see you,
Aren't you not in
man.
there?
I hope life is treating you well and you're doing awesome.
is she?
Who?
Hanging out with Alex.
What day is it?
Ew.
Tuesday? Good to see you too, Mono. Yeah, sometimes I lurk, but I don't say hi. I'm terrible. Terrible friend. I hope you're doing good. I'm the worst when it comes to other streams. I go and I lurk and I like work on other things, but then I forget to ever tell them I was there. I'm bad. Tuesday? Question mark. What is Tuesday? Oh yeah, Halloween. Doing a giveaway stream. Yeah, Halloween is a giveaway stream. Today's Saturday. Yes. We heard wrong. Yeah. Giveaway stream. I got stickers. I got Pokemon cards. I got. You have the Scarlet and Violet on the Switch. I got Mimikyu exclusive cards for Tiara. Well, electric Tiara type Mimikyu. So that's just the start. I haven't done a single thing on anywhere about me being live yet. I'm terrible. Except for Snap.
Fun. That's fun.
Don't talk about yourself that way.
What did I say?
You said I'm terrible.
Oh, I did. I was thinking you did say that. Oh, it's hard to concentrate.
Not in the bathhouse.
She's not in the bathhouse?
Nope.
Or she is in the bathhouse?
She's not.
Have you tried the store? I'm trying the store.
She's not in the store.
Oh, I'm in Abigail's bedroom though, all of a sudden.
Oh.
Oh.
Damn.
Let's see, 2.0. Death God! Hey, super cute goddess KimonoKat, how are you, lovely and amazing lady? I am doing great. It's good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Yay. I can do all these things. There we go. Wait. 2.0 is in the wrong spot. This is your Lady Rain 2.0.
Wait, what?
I almost tweeted Lady Rain 2.0 instead of Hacks 2.0.
Oh my god.
This is Lady Rain number 2 on here. It's not the real Lady Rain. It's the second one. She's been replaced. Oh. It's been a while since I've seen you stream. Yes, it has. But I'm glad you're here. I repeat everything, don't I? Say it twice. I think it's so I know I said it.
Probably. It's okay.
Terrible. But yeah, I'm trying to do my notifications real quick. But yeah, I hope you're doing good. What are you playing lately? What games? If you don't want to share, you don't have to share. Okay. 1 done. 5. So, I'm like...
Oh, she is in her room. You just can't see her because she's laying in bed.
Sorry. I'm playing the video game with her. Mother.
Oh, spelled that wrong. mess, if you're wondering why, it's because I washed it. And it's still technically drying. It's drying pretty fast though. I have the fan on above me. And if you hear the noises in the background, it's raining. Raining on the farm. You can see. Kimono? What? What did I do? You didn't know it has a metal now? Yeah. We had to set it so people wouldn't abuse it. That's a thing. You know, when people make it go off like 500 times.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dash. I appreciate you. I feel like I'm shedding now too. But yeah, welcome to my farm, and here's my patch of dirt that I need to plant flowers in because it's driving me nuts that I haven't done that. Yes.
Well, I think there were flowers in it, but then I took them all.
Confessions.
I forget why,
So-
but.
So you could put them in your trunk and make Lady Rain ask why, apparently.
Listen, I'm a flower hoarder. You caught me.
You are. Now we know.
It's fine.
Oh, I hear money.
Oh, I delivered a leek to Evelyn.
Yay, you made money.
Nice.
Ah!
Listen, I'm more than just a pretty face, you know.
I'm trying to figure
Debatable.
this out. What?
Thank you, Rose.
That's a half compliment.
I mean, Rose is working. If anything, that's me that is not doing anything right now. But you know, she does have the pretty face.
Well, not
Drink
currently.
water.
I'm in the mines, so I'm
Thank
getting
you.
1,000 stone for Robin.
So your
Yeah,
face is
because-
covered in soot right now. Wouldn't that be cool if your characters were like covered in stuff?
You know,
when they
there's this
came
thing
out of
called the
mine?
quarry, right?
Yeah, but I like going to the mine better because
Okay.
All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Got 2 more social medias to post on.
Clear out what we got in here.
Kono is a cutie. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
But she's not cutie.
Random blue fox. Apparently I belong to Lady Rain now.
well, duh.
I mean,
you
I do
have
in the
a
game.
kid.
I'm married to her.
Yeah.
She's my wife and we have a kid in the game, so.
Trying to get that second one.
Mm-hmm. Oh, jeez. Things I see online today. Send help. Hello, congrats. Thank you. I love your emote. It's so cute. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's all like bless you. And then it's got the heart. That's like nibbling on it. It looks like he's nibbling on the heart. And he's got it in
God
his
damn it,
little
we only have
paws.
139.
It's so cute. You know, maybe I'm gonna turn this light a little bit. I feel like somehow my camera is like zoomed out on me lately. I don't know if you guys can actually see me. I feel like I'm like a mile away. I'm like so far away. Let's see. One more thing. Dun, 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 dun. And
Oh
paste.
crap! I have shitty energy.
Post. think that was the last post. Finally. It took me all I could do to make it to stream today, so I tried to do that before I go live, but it never happens. Dang chickens. Really rain for this. You hear this? You hear this? It's rainfall.
Oh my god.
It's
Fucking
rainfall.
egg ink.
I'm gonna stream it. Well, apparently now I've learned something about there's things called contracts, and I haven't really learned about those yet. So
Don't
apparently,
do them. You're gonna get yourself in trouble. At least don't do the ones that are co-op.
well, I thought about what if I get enough people in my Discord to join and we do them together in my community.
Oh, it's just random.
No.
You can't pick who you join.
Can't? Then why do they have a whole Discord dedicated to it?
News to me.
It's gonna I'll teach you the things when I learn them, Ray. We will start our own chicken community within my Discord. Just so we can raise billions and billions of chickens. It's a game called Egg Inc. and it's basically Cookie Clicker with chickens. And it's basically cookie. Yeah, I'm gonna demonstrate it on stream one day. I'm gonna share with everybody on stream one day. Chicken Clicker, yeah. But it's called Egg Inc. It's an app for mobile. And I'm just like addicted to raising these chickens because it's basically a cookie clicker game. If you're familiar with Cookie Clicker. Okay. Alright. Let's do this. Let's make things happen.
Do you unfreeze time?
No. Why would I do a thing like that?
Be a little beneficial for us.
Okay. Let's see. The power of time shall be restored. Ta-da!
Yay!
You shall be able to.
And everything.
Yeah.
You can continue your day.
I turned most of my audio down on Stardew because it's just so loud.
It is really loud.
It can be, yeah. I have it way down. I probably have it down too far. Oh my god, that one. Yes.
I had the game
that
itself via the volume mixer equal with my regular speaker sound. And it was still too loud. And I had like everything pretty freaking low.
And there you go, Blue. I just planted some blue jazz seeds.
That's crazy.
So they're like these poopy flowers? Or
well, you can go
poopy
find them in my trunk if you want to show
yes.
what they look like.
Let's go dig in Lemon's trunk. Let's go check it out. What is our stash? Just here they are. We have blue jazz, more blue jazz of all different shades and colors. Blue jazz. That's what I just planted. Then you can plant toilets. You can plant toilets. Oh my freaking god! My words are so messed up today. Oh no! Don't plant toilets. Oh, jeez, words. There we are. I'm pretty sure I can't buy any freaking things. And oh, hi, turtle. And now I want blueberries. Blueberries. We get those a certain time of year, too. Right now, I think it's the red berries, whatever those are called. Whatever these things. Yes, salmon berries.
Salmon.
I know, salmon. I like twisted salmon berries. Then we could put them in the thing to make wine, right? Salmon
berry wine.
Yes, because it tastes like salmon wine. It's amazing.
I need a quicker way than just doing this.
I don't know if anybody's been in here a while. Oh, yeah, we have.
Oh, I've been in there already.
Solid
I've gone through
berries.
everything.
Yes.
Oh,
How
Elliot
do you...
just invited me into his house.
Oh.
Why do I have so many cutscenes today?
You romance them all at the same time. You know there's a penalty for that, right?
I've never
Quite funny.
experienced it. I want to experience it.
You totally should, because there's an experience when you're romancing them all. Something happens. I don't want to disclose what happens, but yeah. It's more like what would happen in real life.
Maybe
I don't think you have enough berries. No.
Maybe I get married too soon for it to happen, because I just married Sebastian in my personal game.
I mean, you could probably still romance them after you're married.
Oh, I do, but nothing's ever like happened from it.
I mean, I don't know. I keep getting all the cutscenes, and I'm married to Rain. She's romancing her person. I'm romancing my person.
Yeah.
It's fair game.
AKA Sebastian.
Oh yeah, who are you guys? I don't want to get in the way.
Other than each other, I'm going for Sebastian.
I don't know. I just be kind of before I was romancing Emily just to make Michigan mad because that was going to be his wife. I may have been doing that. Michigan's their wife. Purple cat ears. Alright, you got it. Enough barrels? Oh yeah, those are the barrels for making wine and beer and stuff. And then we have a whole nother shed for like preserving stuff.
That was much quicker.
I should show you the other shed, and then I should show you the slime hutch. But right now, I'm about to talk to the wizard, so I don't know what he's gonna have to say. But yeah. Purple cat ears! Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh, you might have the cutscene after I got the talisman, because I literally just did that.
Oh.
I don't know.
Didn't we get the talisman?
Maybe not. Oh no, that's his dead body on the train. Oh, that's his dead body on the train tracks. That's why he looks weird. He got run over by a train. That's why he's not a ghost. That's a dead body. That's why I can like walk.
Because you have the ghost mod. That's right.
Yeah, I have the ghost mod on. Crap. Yeah, he's dead. Yeah. He got ran over by the train. We won't talk about it.
Trying to talk to him.
Yeah, for people that are sensitive to certain topics, those topics are in this game at the moment because of the mod. So, different ways people have died.
You've been warned.
Cat ears! Yes. You have been warned.
Alright, is Haley finally out of bed?
So what am I doing? Was I supposed to go see the wizard again? No, he gave me the thing.
Yeah, she should be.
And then...
Well, she is, but I can't get in her room.
She...
friends yet.
Well, it's also 5 p.m., so, like, she's probably at the thing.
Source rush.
No, she's just hanging out in her bed.
1,000 pieces
of stuff all day.
Oh, so you're trying to get...
It's raining.
I'm just waiting outside her door in hopes that she'll go make dinner.
He's a ghost. Sad. Sad ghost boy. Sad ghost girl. Everybody's a ghost. And then you find random bodies everywhere because of the mod. I wonder who's dead in the mine. I bet somebody's dead in here now. If they are, they're covered up. It's making gems. And then what does this one do again? This one turns ore and stuff into bars. Nice. Yeah, I'm gonna drop off some stuff in here. Well, I should have kept some of that stone for the stone thingamajig.
It's okay. I'm already like
finishing that one.
Well, I'm halfway-ish. I'm blowing shit up, so it's okay.
Okay, so you're blowing things up. Boop.
Yep.
Booped one random fox. Oh. Here we go. People are booping. I'm going to splash first. I don't get splashed. And burnt. Core random. Core random gets burnt in the bottom. No. If you're wondering what's going on here, all this is automated. We've got all these machines. When you put something in the trunk, it takes these raw elements and then converts them into actual finished pieces. And the same thing over here. Whatever you drop in here turns into actual refined products, like the refined bars. Once there's enough of those pieces in here, it will turn into the refined bars. So they're basically refineries, the automated refineries. And this is to throw stuff in that you don't want. Like you just have like random extra pieces of stuff that you don't really care about. You could drop it in here and it'll get sold overnight. Yeah, kisses. I burnt. I did not kiss, but I shall. Let's see who I kiss. Pokemon community games.
Sounds about right.
And then I look at Afro. Sorry, Afro, you don't get a kiss, you get a lick. Run. Run, 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 run. Hugs, one random blue. Alright, I feel like a quote is needed. Even cats like watching me. Yes, this is true. Rain's cat loves watching Stardew.
She just loves watching anything, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Okay, also I have a horse whistle, and again, oh, there's not enough room to summon my horse. My horse isn't fat anymore, remember? He went on a diet. What are you talking about? I have to have so many blocks to summon it, but I can ride it anywhere. On all the narrow paths, because I fixed that. With a mod. Ghost boy. I wonder if there's anything creepy. Oh yeah, there's a body in the fountain. Oh, that has to be Haley. I don't know.
Oh, that looks like it's
Haley.
Haley.
Yeah, Haley drowned in the fountain or got murdered or something.
Maybe that's why she wanted the sandfish.
Yeah.
Probably.
Tally ho! You should see a medical professional. We didn't even made it to quote 69 yet, did we? We're so close.
I don't think so.
We're gonna play more golf. There you go, guys. Quotes. Anybody can hit exclamation quote and get a random quote. If you want to do that, you guys
68 it looks like.
Oh my god, that was not me, by the way.
I'm pretty sure it was Michigan or Dreams.
Yeah, it needs to have the person's name on there. It looks like it was not me. Oh, I should probably go to bed soon. It wasn't me! Oh. That body on the side of the bridge, too. What is that right there?
Yeah, but it's getting late.
Yeah. It looks like a body. No! Run home! Fast like lightning! Go! Because we have super speed.
Well, that's rude. Get out of my house. There's a slime.
Get out of your house. Oh, how did I keep picking up squares?
I'm so thankful that Don't tell Rain.
Don't tell Rain. I didn't make it home last night. I wonder if she'll notice.
Oh,
Strawberry fields and butterflies. Yes. You're gonna die unless you work.
I'm not gonna die.
You're gonna ride the minecart back. Speedy, speedy.
Sure.
Use your scepter. Or mods.
Mods.
Because I don't think you played with the mods last time. I guess you got them updated today, huh?
I did.
Yay! Ooh, we made a lot of coffee. Dang.
Yeah, it was just sitting in chests.
And what is that? Oh, aged albacore, void mayonnaise. Oh, look at all the flowers. Blue jazz. Wonder where that came from. Oh, this is the part I have to be careful. Because it goes like this, and if I don't pay attention, the arrow is on the bottom left. And when it goes full screen like this, I have a bad habit of hitting the X in the top right hand corner, which is actually to close the game, not to close the window.
Oh, no.
I have closed the game, I don't know how many times, and been like, sorry guys, that was me. I don't know what happened. I may have closed the game.
Alright, back to the mines.
Ooh, I learned how to make fried eel.
Ooh.
Hi, baby. And what can we cook? I don't know. All kinds of things. Fish stew, crayfish, mussel, periwinkle, and tomato. Snail and garlic. Ooh. Kale broth is white algae. I have like all these new dishes that I've never probably made. I'm pretty sure there's an achievement for like making them all. But how do you know which ones you've made and which ones you haven't? I wonder if it's best to wait until you have them all unlocked and then go in a row and make them like in a row. Like make this one, this one, this one, this one. So otherwise, I'm not gonna know which ones I've made and which ones I haven't. I mean, I know I've made that 500 times and that 500 times. But I think our fridge needs shellfish and stuff.
Oh, I just caught a crab. I'll bring it. I don't know if that's a shellfish. It's not.
I need like the lobsters and stuff too?
Oh yeah, like the shrimp.
I should go down to the docks and get stuff. How do I wiggle your kitty? Ears.
Pam's birthday is tomorrow.
Yo.
Whose birthday is
Have
tomorrow?
you seen those
Pam's.
ears that are like
and
automated?
Spirits today.
That they like are supposed to like move based on how you're feeling and like your personality or whatever. I don't know how they do it. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh
the
yeah,
automated
those
ears?
ones, the ones that are the brainwaves.
Yeah.
I remember
Brainwave
those were really
ears.
popular like 10 years ago.
Yeah, I need some of those.
Those would be a lot of fun. I did always want a pair. What else? Oh,
I would find them and put them on like my throne thing, but they're probably like uber expensive.
I don't think
Oh, you
so.
can do
They're
community
like
things though.
Yeah.
You can do like community things for throne stuff too though, and let your community like each pitch in and get stuff. I thought that was pretty cool when I set it up. I didn't know that. Move it, coming through, ghost animals. I have a special delivery. I'm making truffle oil. We have a void chicken named Pika.
We have a void chicken?
Yeah,
or we have
they're the
void
black
egg?
ones.
No, we have a void chicken.
Yeah. Void chickens lay void eggs.
Yeah.
Black chickens.
Oh,
so what? Yeah, you throw your void egg
in the incubator.
Yeah. So.
Oh.
Yeah,
or you're
you
fortunate enough that the witch flies over.
Well, yeah, she voids your egg. That's how you get a void egg. But
I didn't know that you could hatch void chickens.
Yep. Yeah. But you can only get a void egg technically from the witch, I believe.
Or buying one from Probus. Yeah, you can buy one from
Probus. Okay. But yeah, once you put it in the incubator, you get black chickens, which mine are ghost gray right now, so it's kind of hard to tell.
Oh.
Alright, we're almost done.
And then you get void mayo. The
How close
wigs
are
as
we?
well.
Like, we only need 19.
Oh, okay. I should have enough from this level of the mine.
We got it.
Yeah.
I
Boom.
blew things up.
Oh, that's right. We have this one set
That's how I got it up so quickly, is I've just been going through and blowing things up.
hatch things. And this one's set too.
Now I just need to get the rest of these because it feels
Big things.
complete if I don't.
You guys are making all the money.
Yeah, trying.
Robin's
Someone's gotta work
resources.
on this farm, Mono.
Yeah.
What are you trying to say? What is it, Matthew? What did I do? Oh, that is sad. Matthew Perry passed away.
What?
Who?
Oh,
Wait, I know that name. Why do I know that name?
Chandler Bing.
That is sad. He was funny and friends. There's my one blue chicken. I need more blue chickens. I think I have to keep buying chickens to get blue chickens. That's how that works. And then I have to decide which chickens to sell. Oh gosh, Shane's here.
Oh, hey, Shane.
Scared me. Truffles. Oh, while we're at it, I'm going to drop these berries off into the wine thing. Oh, I was gonna show Blue the other hut too.
Apparently, they were called for cardiac arrest. He ended up drowning in the jacuzzi.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
There's too many
Just a
pimples.
fucking freak accident kind of
That's
thing.
so sad.
Crazy. Okay.
Yeah.
Did that.
Take some stuff out because there was no room for the pickles to actually come out.
Oh yeah, you could like you know
what? I took
pickles.
enough. Yeah, I took enough stuff out now. Well, they couldn't process any more food, if that makes sense, because all the slots.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's okay.
So.
Mona, did you say we needed shellfish?
Yes.
Alright, let me put some in the fridge.
I need all the stuff that the ocean brings up. How's it going? Hi, Shane! Welcome, welcome, welcome to the stream! And what am I gonna do now? Boot. Boot myself. Splash Shane. Shane's turn. He needed a bath. Lick to Lady Rain. Yep. Kiss Shane. King gets kisses. Mwah. And what else do we got? And then I burn his butt. It's only fair. Right? Oh no! Yeah, you tried. You tried.
Umbrella needs to move.
You tried, Matthew. So many mixed messages, right? That's how I live my life. All the mixed messages.
Where do we have tappers at?
Tappers? Oh, we didn't because we could never get the freaking trees to grow. The plan was for them to grow and we had them spaced too close together. So we were gonna go grow them by Robin's place.
Gotcha.
And we haven't grown them over there yet. We need to plant them.
That's
Hey, do
alright.
we have
I'll
any
just go to
ducks?
the roads. Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Do we have what?
Do we have any duck feathers?
I sold the one
Oh.
yesterday.
You didn't leave one in there? You sold the whole batch?
There was
Trying
only
to
a
win
single one.
Elliot's love, Rain. I need duck feathers to do that.
Here, hold on. Hold on. I got you.
She's gonna pull one out of her butt for you.
Mm-hmm.
She's just gonna pull one out of her butt,
That's
you know?
I never asked for.
Give me a second. I'm gonna
Box.
put it in this chest, but I Grab it.
Bunks, yes. I burn Lady Rain.
There you go.
Thanks.
And a kiss Lady Rain. I do that one in reverse.
Oh, that's weird. They're not showing up.
Okay, you guys want to sleep this
They're
slime?
not in the gray one?
Oh, they're
This
in
is the
the
slime
they're in the
hutch.
for sale. They're in the
We only
sale
have
bin.
tiger slimes and green slimes right now.
Did I accidentally
got
put them in the
'em.
sale bin?
Yeah, but I got them.
We don't have all the slimes
That's weird.
right now.
I thought I was putting it in the gray one.
All good.
We would have made a shit ton of money.
I just had party hats.
Yeah, I thought I threw it in there with the party hats.
Oh, that's funny.
No, get off me! Stop hurting me! Stop hurting me! I took care of your slimes.
Yes. Alright. I gave maple syrup to the bear. Heck yeah. And skull cutter in.
Okay, and this is the duplicate cake that we were in. That one makes pickle jars and such. And this one, we don't have one to procure the wine to the next step, do we?
Huh?
Oh, that's in the wine cellar, isn't it?
Yeah.
I forgot. We have a wine cellar. I forgot.
Yeah, we just move all the wine to the wine cellar when it's completed. That way it ages in the wine cellar.
I forgot we had a wine cellar. My house is so big I don't even know how many rooms it has anymore. Oh yeah, we have a wine cellar. And there's hops in here too.
Yep.
That's the goal to
and
get
coffee.
rich enough that I can just say, "Oh, I forgot I had a wine cellar."
Right?
That's my new goal in life.
I forgot I had a wine cellar. Yes.
Sounds
of
like
course,
a really
we need
good
all
goal.
the wine.
It's me though, so I highly doubt I'd forget I had a wine cellar.
Yeah.
Oh.
Fair.
Right now, I just have a wine rack, and it's very depressingly empty.
Yeah, if I had a wine cellar, I'd seriously be in trouble all the time. Bye, baby.
We're seeing my brother-in-law who owns the vineyard tomorrow, so we'll probably end up.
Yay! All the way. I know where that block goes that I accidentally picked up earlier. Right there. Oh, and one right there too. I think the lightning, even though we have lightning rods, I think it's picking up the... It's hitting the squares anyway. See, and I still have yet to understand why this horse is my horse. Whoever's house has the witch next to it, which is not Rain.
Mine.
Oh, yeah. Your horse is the one that comes when I blow my whistle.
What?
Yeah.
That's super weird. I think it's usually just the last one you ride, but that's...
No, okay, well, we'll test that theory. We'll leave that one there, and we'll ride... this is Michigan's horse, I believe, with the baller hat on.
Yes.
We'll ride this guy, and we'll come down here and pick some berries, and forget where our horse is. Not really. No, I don't want to eat them. I just want to pick them. Pick all the... No. And, oh, somebody picked berries and didn't have room to carry them. Oh. Okay, now I'm gonna pretend I don't know where my horse is and whistle. And yep, it's the one with the bow. Poor Michigan's horse is just left out here abandoned. Yeah, it's your horse, Rain. Your horse loves me. It comes when I call it.
That's okay.
Thank you for the video, Shane. Well, time to lurk again. My work marathon continues tomorrow. Thank you for stopping in. I appreciate it. And good luck with your work marathon. I hope it goes by very quickly. Because I know that can't be fun. 12-hour days. Nope. 8-hour days murder me. I can't imagine 12-hour days on your feet. Oh, no. Harvesting all the salmon berries I can find. Do I still need a leek? No. Oh, I do. I still need to go get a leek. Maybe I can go get a leek right now. Yes, there's more berries I can pick. No, we're gonna skip that. Where's the leek? Not here. I get lost trying to find these things.
Oh shit, Shane just got me drunk on the dock.
You're romancing Shane? Oh.
No,
I thought you were romancing
down to the
Elliot.
farm. I was going down to the
She's
woods to get
romancing
hardwood.
everyone.
Listen, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yep. Well, the last 2 days suck, so I'm not holding out much hope. Oh, jeez. Hi. Not good, Shane. I thought I had like a mod that said like harvest everything with the scythe, but I guess I don't have that anymore. So
yeah, you do. It's
stuff.
the CJB or whatever it is. You just have to turn it on.
Oh. Farming and fishing.
I'm cheating my way down to the 100th level in the skull cavern.
The only way I've figured out how to do it without mods is to get so many stone that I can build enough stairways to.
Yeah. I just modded
stairs.
in the stairs. I just grabbed a stack
it's
of
the tools.
Dionosaurs.
Harvest with scythe. It's on, but it's not working. Alright, turn it off and turn it back on. Let's see what happens.
I found a Dionosaur.
Doesn't work.
Oh no! We have too much stuff in the fridge.
That sounds
right. We need another fridge. I feel like there's not enough fridges because I can't cook the meals I want to cook because we never have the food in them.
I don't know what it says about me because this is a game, and so it doesn't matter if I put fish in the same fridge as like the cake and the pre-made foods. But it's going against everything that I am to put shrimp in the fridge with like the pre-made foods.
Yeah, you're like, ew, raw shrimp with cake. Ew, it can taste like shrimp cake.
No, it's not even that. It's cross-contamination.
Yeah. It's gross.
It's literally the cross-contamination from working in food.
Oh my god, I hate it. But there's no room in the other fridge, so it is what.
Oh no, I need to get back
I'll
home.
reorganize it at some point. I just have to get to the 100th level here.
I just don't want to like throw out anything that y'all want.
I abandoned 2 horses to get home in time. Good thing they know how to find their way home.
Hey, Remus.
I gotta.
Thing.
Wait. Oh, it's Thor.
I'm in a cutscene.
Remus is on the thing behind me, but usually he's the one that comes under my desk, but it's Thor under my desk.
I can't skip this cutscene. It's weird. Did it pause time for you guys though?
It just says waiting for other player.
It looks like.
What's the cutscene?
Pause. Oh, I went to the 100th level of the mine of Skull Cavern. It looks like it might have paused time. I don't think so.
Yeah, it did pause time. It's at 1:40.
It didn't pause time then. I'm gonna pass out.
Yeah, I mean it's stuck out. Oh yeah, it didn't pause.
Oh crap!
You won't.
Nope.
No. Yes. Yes. Oh my god! I barely made it.
That is talent right there.
Oh, no, Mono paused it.
Oh.
Right at the end.
I was like,
Just-
wow.
I
You
still
should've
think
smelled
you
it.
made it. I still think you
Yeah.
made it. I was just being very cautious and I about passed out in my own bed, probably, kind of thing, because I just turned off pause time or whatever as I went back to sleep.
I wish I could fall asleep like I do in this game.
What the fuck just
Right?
happened?
Just go to sleep. Bam.
Boom.
Do you guys hear that?
Yeah, what
Hear
was
what?
that?
There's a thing. I heard a thing happen.
Oh, that was in the game, wasn't it? It was The Witch or
Yeah.
something, wasn't it?
It might have been.
I didn't see a scene, though.
Yeah.
Or maybe it'll show us a scene in a second.
Or maybe it was like the slime thing that
No,
just
it was like
yeah.
a... Yeah, I don't know, it was a weird, creepy
Weird.
shrill.
Yeah. Like a little trill.
Like that.
Kind of, yeah.
Like a dying
But, like,
mosquito. Oh, a strange
Oh,
sound was...
heard in the night? Where is it?
I don't know. Who's at my door to tell me about it? Nobody. Let me see what my mail says.
Right?
Robin. Stone chest. Nope.
Okay.
Mm.
The animals seem fine.
Oh, I found it.
What is
It's
it?
it's in the near the right there.
Near what?
It's
an
like near the
alien.
Junibo hut.
Oh,
Jumino.
I gotta go see.
It looks like it's supposed to be an alien. Oh, look at the little Junimo. Look at him.
Are they
Hello,
actually
friend.
working today?
Well, they don't really have anything to work on.
Oh, that's true.
What alien?
Oh, I mean to take your coffee
This
beans.
thing. Oh no. Over here, down here.
Where?
Yeah, no, you're following me, not Rain. Here.
Oh. Holding the wrong person. Oh. I forgot about those. Does it say? No, that says strawberry. That is definitely not a strawberry.
Someone needs to pick up the harvest because
I don't know. There's some kind of
I
capsule
do.
growing something.
I wonder if it's an alien.
I'm hungry. Eat something! Can't stay as long as I got to work tonight. Been sick till today. Oh, well, I hope you get to feel it. I'm glad to see you're feeling a little better, and I hope work goes by fast and you can get back to resting. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember what these things do. I've had them before, but I forget.
I don't know.
I completely forget what they are.
Yes.
I don't think I've had one naturally appear on its own. But I think I've had them before, but I don't remember what they do. Oh, great. Where's the wine? Where am I making strawberry wine? Forget that. These strawberries are going in the wine cellar.
Strawberry wine.
Yes. I make a lot of drinking. I mean, I do. I'm making strawberry wine. And coffee. And salmon wine.
Salmon.
Do you want me to save all the strawberries that I picked up, or should I sell them?
I mean, you can dump them in the house thingamajiggy. In the house winery.
I'm in the mines right now.
'Cause we have
finding
plenty of
iron
money.
cord, but-
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta go see a person about a leak.
I love how we all just
Some-
like turned 12 real quick. All
We're
of us
children.
were just like giggling.
I don't have
It's
a leak.
fine.
I don't have a leak. You get a leak.
We're children. It's okay.
Okay, I gotta go in here and scene with the leak. Okay, George. I want you to take a deep breath. Uh-oh, Harvey. Turn around, please. George, I'll be honest with you. You need to make some changes in your lifestyle if you want to stay healthy. I'd like you to reduce your sodium intake and try to get some moderate exercise with your arms. He's like, grumble, grumble, grumble. I know what's best for me. Who do you think you are telling me how to live my life? Doctor? I'm your doctor, George. That's who I am. And I went to school for 8 years so I could learn how to help people stay healthy. Oh. I'm sorry, but you shouldn't be here. These checkups are supposed to be private. Not so fast.
Lock
I'd
the
like to
door.
get a second opinion from this young lady. George wants my medical advice. Oh my god. No.
Well, it's gonna be
Seems
terrible
legit.
advice.
Very well. Cat 2.0, what do you think George should do? George should follow Dr. Harvey's advice. George knows what's best for his own body. Debatable.
Do we really think that George knows what's best for his own body?
No, George is a grumpy old man. Thank you, Cat. You see, George, I'm just trying to help you. Fine, I'll do what you say, Doctor. Thanks for your help, Cat 2.0. I appreciate it. He's watching TV, and I gotta go take a leak to them. Don't giggle when I say I gotta go take a leak. Dang it. Is that our next quote? Is that 168? I gotta go take a leak. I'm making cookies today. I like to make flower shapes in the spring. Where did George just go? I thought I was supposed to bring somebody a leak.
Evelyn. You're supposed to bring Evelyn the leak, though.
You can't talk right now, miss. Okay, George, you can't talk. Oh, Evelyn. Take a leak.
I don't want regular quartz. I want fire quartz.
Oh, Evelyn. Where the crap is Evelyn? Isn't she his wife?
The next quote is gonna be quote 69, so...
I know. I'm gonna have to really think about it.
Good one.
Where did Evelyn just go? I swear,
She might be working in the garden.
She wanted to tell me stuff, but then she didn't accept my leak. And now she's gone. She just ghosted away. She ghosted me. Hi, Jay!
Type.
Welcome. I just don't know where she went. She vanished. Into thin air.
She died.
Oh, hello, ladies.
I'm not surprised.
Oh, are you running from that?
Jay.
Are you running from ghosts? Welcome, Jay. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope you're doing awesome, Jay. I don't think she's in the garden. I don't know where she's at, but I can pick some more berries. Oh, I don't
Maybe she's
eat
in
this.
the
Oh, that's a spring onion. That's not a leek. That's probably the problem. Dang it.
Oh.
I'm carrying around spring onions. I wonder why it's not triggering.
Definitely do it.
I just ate a spring onion by accident, too. It did not taste good.
I can't imagine it would.
I'm not a fan of raw onions. Really not. I feel like... I don't know. I don't know where she went anyway. Says Evelyn. Granny's gift. Bring her a leek. Dang it. You know what? I knew where Granny went. I could give her a leek, but I don't know where she went. Ah, George is back in front of the TV. His wife is nowhere to be found. Shane took his shirt off and he's working out.
What?
Or is that Shane?
That's
Shane.
Alex.
That's Alex. Never mind. Alex took his shirt off and he's working
That
out
doesn't
in the
surprise
bedroom.
me.
So well-stocked refrigerator. Well, I wanted to check out the refrigerator. They would let me. Yeah, I'm doing good. And yourself, sweetie? I'm doing good. I'm having a good time tonight. I'm being silly. Maybe she went in here? She's in the store? No, she's not in the secret yoga worshiper chamber.
Who are you looking for?
Evelyn. Does she go to the bar? Ooh, a train
Yeah,
pastor
she
starting.
goes there sometimes.
I swear, this woman. You know what? I could pull up my map, see if I can find her.
Do you have a mod that shows you?
Yeah. I think. Yeah.
It just tells you where they
know
live.
where
No.
Sebastian is?
No, I don't have one at the moment.
He should be heading to the saloon pretty soon.
It just shows where you guys are
But
right
it's
now.
Thursday.
Sorry, I'm cracking geodes open at Clint's, so.
Oh, you're good. I just need to get him his fire quartz before the end of the day.
Oh yeah, I'll find him for you. Don't worry.
I'm just
did you
gonna
send
give.
the community center?
I'm just gonna give everybody leaks. I gave Penny a leak. Oh, is that her? Yeah, there she is. Oh, thank you, dear. This leek looks delicious. George will be so happy. He loves when I make eggs with leeks for breakfast. I've never had eggs and
I
leeks
gotta
for
get him a
breakfast.
frozen tier anyway.
Have you had
For
eggs
your,
and leeks for breakfast?
deduction purposes.
Yes.
Who does eggs and leeks for breakfast? I've never tried that. It's really like berries. No more berries. Alright, I'm gonna check out this refrigerator situation and see if
Thought I had a thing with his schedule on it, but he should be heading to the saloon, I feel like.
Oh, I found him. He's hanging out by the
to
train
do
tracks.
Oh, thank God. Alright,
What am I getting him? Fire quartz.
I did nothing.
Oh, I already have 10 hearts of them.
The fridge situation has been resolved.
Wow. Alright.
We have more mini fridges, by the way.
Hey.
I'm putting all the
I
leaves
forgot
in
I'm
the
already
fridge.
dating Sebastian, so I literally tried to give him a bouquet.
Also, I got the letter this morning. Yay! You got your sticker! I'm glad. Congrats again on winning a sticker. Let's see. Thank you for the retweet, Shane and Sixer. Thank you guys.
Damn it. I was trying to get him to marry me, but he's like, aren't you already married?
Ouch.
It's okay, we're still dating.
Oh.
I guess he's like only somewhat into polyamory, not.
Yeah.
Did you? So what did you tell him? Did you say no?
Well, I asked him to marry me.
Oh. And then he asked you if you were already married, right?
Yeah, he's like, aren't you already married? Because I tried to give him a pendant.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I guess. Whatever.
I mean, I think we're allowed to change that later, right?
Yeah, but we need the child first.
Yeah, we gotta get one more child.
And this one doesn't seem to know how to age up yet. Where our
He's
child's
all 2
missing.
feet. And the ghost one, he likes it. No, he's not down here.
Where's our child?
He's ghosting you
Oh,
again?
our child is in the bed. We might actually be able to have one now. Okay.
He's in the bed?
Yeah, he's laying in the bed.
I don't see him.
Oh, he's like right here. Like right in here.
Oh, is that why I couldn't roll over there? Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if it's just like glitched in there, but
I don't know. I don't think we can sleep in these beds either. It
no.
won't let me be a toddler. I tried. Being a toddler. Ethan, you're welcome. Fortune telling. I sense that a new viewer has joined us. A young lady from Stardew Valley. Welcome. What? A new viewer? This is the first time I turn on the TV. The spirits are very happy today. They will do their best to shower anyone with good fortune. Woo! Good fortune it is. Is it nighttime already?
It's only 9 though.
Rain went to bed already.
It did.
Slacker.
I picked up all the
Grandpa's
truffles. I put them in the
Yay.
little truffle thingy.
Chickens are asleep. Carol. Jeremy.
What the fuck?
Blue. Which is a blue. Hector. Nuggets. Pika. KFC. Bunny named Lucky. He's gonna lose a foot one day. I'm not sure how that works, but they lose their feet.
They regrow them though.
Potato is trying to sleep. Dave the dinosaur. Smog the
Dav,
dinosaur.
it's Dav.
Dav. Z the dinosaur.
Smaug.
The dinosaur. Appropriate. And blue. Oh, we got 2 blues. One's actually blue and one's not.
Love that.
And we got some eggs that I just collected because I don't want them to. I don't think they auto go into the incubator, but
Not that one, no.
I feel like I want to go get some more chickens. So
More
I
blue
think we
chicken?
still have room. Yeah. How many animals are we allowed to have? 1, 2, 3.
I don't know.
5, 6, 7, 8. I think you're allowed to have like 10 per barn or something.
Probably.
This is not my bed. This is the barn. I went to the barn looking for my bed. Jeez.
Hey, Mono. It's the barn.
Trying to carry out the nativity story over here, I guess.
Maybe. Right? Right. Oh, stretch. I think it's time for a quick stretch break.
Dang,
Ah.
still.
What did we forage for? Rusty cog, dwarf scroll, solar essence, skeleton tail, preserve. We still need some stuff for the museum, so make sure those things.
No, we
are stuff
don't.
need. Oh, have you finished it?
Oh wait, the museum? Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. No,
Not the
I checked
community center.
I checked the things before I filled.
Okay, because I just put something in there last time. Drink water. Thank you, Jay. 19th day of spring, year 2. if you are like an extreme stardew person, they say you're supposed to be able to accomplish everything up to this point in the game in like 150 hours. I'm like, whoever does that, that's if you don't get sidetracked. I'm like, yeah, no, that's never gonna happen.
Ooh, can you guys take the mods off where the vegetables go after you harvest them?
Automation?
So that I can, yeah, so that I can harvest
I
my
think
person.
so. Maybe.
Wait, what?
Farming, auto water, auto feed, auto pet, auto. It shouldn't be going off the ground into the harvester immediately. Maybe it's the location you're planting it at.
It's
Well,
because the Junimos are doing it.
No, so I don't know where I did it last time, but this time I did it in front of the horse's stable, so we'll see if it works.
Oh yeah, it should be fine.
Yeah,
I
I
did just
think
pull the things from the Junimos.
it worked.
Yeah.
Heck
Oh,
yeah.
thank goodness.
I finally got started, guys. I finally checked it off.
Okay. Alright, moving to stretch and be right back. And try not to forget I'm on a timer. But yes, thank you for the stretch, Jay. Thank you. I don't think I need anything.
Right,
I put to sleep.
I just collected what the Junimos harvested and put it in our cellar. This one does. There we go.
Alright, now I need to craft a scarecrow.
Almost done. Okay. Down here. Okay, I did that. What's I gonna do? Oh.
I don't know why I'm so sleepy. Alright, I built my scarecrow.
Yes.
Finally accomplished all the beginner things.
Yes. Puddles? No. No.
Puddles is like, yes, yes.
BRB need food. Yes. Oh, sounds
Okay,
amazing.
I got the final 3 things.
I walked back in and my oh, wrong button. Not Discord. Gaming. And my child's standing next to me. Oh, you put some things in the thing.
I finished it. We only had 3 things, so I got them out of the fancy back pocket of mine.
Kitty. Well, why is there a skeleton just like floating around in
Why not?
the yard?
Oh yeah, I put it there. Oh, wait a minute. What? Oh, that's our cat.
No, this thing.
Oh.
Oh yeah, no, I put that there.
We can start a museum outside our house now. Since you
Yeah,
finished the
why not?
museum.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna get the tractor for a ride because it's the closest. And we're gonna come over here and do the things on the stuff. Oh wait, the lady's here with weird stuff. What's she got?
Yeah, I
Horse
completed
radish,
it.
fake fertilizer, cherry saplings, coffee beans, pale broth. Ooh, we needed some of that for some of the recipes. I think. Small plant. Fine. Did we ever plant any rare seeds? I don't know that we did.
No, because I don't think I put it in the greenhouse. So if you buy
Aren't
it,
they?
I'll plant it.
Aren't the ancient seeds more valuable?
We do have the ancient seeds. We already got those.
And the star fruits make really good star fruit wine eventually. Like when you age it or something, it's supposed to be super valuable.
It's like if you just put it in
Okay.
my chest by my house, I can grab it and plant it in the greenhouse.
Can I hold my sword and kill slimes on the tractor? No. Dang. I can train. You know how you can, like, hold an axe on the tractor and harvest wood, or hold a scythe on a tractor and harvest food? I was hoping I could hold a sword and kill slimes, but... Uh-oh. Did I get stuck? I may have got stuck on the tractor in the woods. I may be stuck.
Oh no.
Yeah. And I turned off that walk through anything mod. That's okay. I didn't turn off my ability to warp. Oops! How did that happen? Hi, kitty.
Oh. I don't have a strange bun.
Did you just say you don't have a strange butt?
I said I don't have a strange bun.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
like,
yes. Yes. She does not have a strange butt. She has a normal butt. Oh. Okay,
I think
I'm
it's
putting...
very sketch that there is a warp portal from the wizard's tower to the witch's hut,
Oh.
and he claims that it's his ex-wife. I think they're still sleeping together.
probably. That seems like the kind of shit he'd get up to.
I mean,
Yeah.
Caroline's married, so he can't get some from her anymore. This poor Pierre
Yeah.
doesn't know the parentage of his own daughter.
It's like
Yeah.
the story of Wicked.
Yeah, he doesn't know why his daughter has the same color hair as the wizard.
Oh.
I mean, she looks a hell of a lot more like the wizard than she does Pierre.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the thing you're talking about? That warp thingamajiggy right there? There's a trash can enter there. You don't trust me? Oh, jeez.
I'm gonna make the fridge, the mini fridge next to the main fridge, the fish fridge. Is that okay?
Okay.
So how do I make him
Sorry.
trust me?
You give him gifts.
Gotta give him gifts.
Oh, we were already friends.
Not good enough. Oh.
You gotta bribe him. Come on.
Oh, you can build a Junimo hut from his place too.
Yeah, that's how I built it.
Oh.
I did it that way.
Oh.
Ah. Yeah, I actually kind of did a legit. The Shrine of Illusions makes an offering of 500 G to change your appearance.
Yeah.
Ooh. Oh, so I can decide to have a different color hair today. Or a different hairstyle. I'm gonna put my hair down in pigtails. And I want purple hair today. Yay! I wish I could change my ear color to purple too. I'd like to have purple ears. You can change it for my. You can change the type of cat you have? There's 3 different cats? Since when?
There's always been 3 different cats.
I didn't know that. Doesn't matter because mine's
Yeah.
reskinned, but
Yeah.
I thought it was only a cat or a dog. I didn't know you could get 3 different kinds of cats. Kim has got a magical makeover. Where's this ladder
I'm going
go?
to the island.
Go back out. Okay, good luck. That place got me stuck.
How did it get you stuck?
Me and Rose kept getting stuck, and so we kind of
Oh,
gave up on
yeah.
that place.
Would like enter the not the mine, but like the equivalent to the mine,
We were,
and
we were,
it would just be
we were
black.
trying to follow the little fire guy, and they wouldn't let us. Like, we kept getting stuck in the wall.
Huh.
Like, if I go to warp locations, if I go over there where you're at, oh yeah, Ginger Island.
There's a kid.
The field office, yeah. He's the one you
Oh,
gotta
that's
be friend
right.
with all the nuts.
Oh. Child ran into here. Oh,
You gotta collect
fiddlehead
nuts.
fern.
Yeah, and there's Ginger here too.
Yeah. I don't know what that's for. I haven't figured that out yet.
There's a big turtle on the way. Haven't moved the turtle yet. And oh, you can find nuts in the soil,
Cool.
Like there was a circle on the ground and I dug one up. It's like somebody, I bet a squirrel or something buried it and I dug it up.
Well, that's helpful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, anytime you see the dots of squirrels in the ground, if you see rocks in a circle about the size of a nut, dig it. It's a dig spot for nuts. Now I
I'll try going
know.
there the next day, see if it freezes up on me again.
Yeah, because we were like, where did we get those at? And we didn't know. But yeah, this big mouth cave thing, every time I go into it, I get stuck. See? Now I'm stuck in this top right corner. What do I do now?
Hold on.
Here, I'll move my cam. But yeah, see where I'm at? I'm stuck. And this is where I'm supposed to go next.
I'm definitely not.
I don't know where I was supposed to go next. Where am I supposed to go next? And maybe you could tell me, and then I could just walk there. Where did you end up?
No. I'm in the thing, but
Well, tell me what room you end up in, and maybe I can just warp there. Like, did you end up in like the forge or
I don't know.
door shop?
Well, maybe go to the forge. It might be.
I did that last time, but no. Sure. I mean, that's where you forge things, but I don't know how to do that yet.
Okay, yeah. So I just gotta make my way up there. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Say hello.
Hello. Okay. So this is where I was supposed to go next, then. I just didn't know because
I
getting stuck in the
don't think
wall.
it was, because I came down from down here. But, because I had to go across this way. But I don't know how.
Oh yeah, I didn't get all. I didn't get to go in here.
Wait, what?
Ooh,
Wait a minute.
this is a maze.
Wait. What?
What?
Hold on.
Are you
I have to share
confused?
my screen with you.
Okay.
Because it doesn't make sense.
Oh.
Oh, you have to pour water on the like you have to fill up your watering can from the
Oh, because I have auto watering on mine. And I bet it auto watered the ground, so there's no lava for me. Maybe?
But I have auto watering on too, but that's okay.
I don't know. That's why I needed you to guide me to where I'm supposed to go. Look, there's no hole in the wall there for me.
That's weird.
What did you do to make a hole in the wall?
I'm loading. I didn't do anything. It was there.
Weird.
But now I'm just stuck loading.
That's...
This is encouraging.
Yeah. I'm like so confused now. How am I able to go through walls and you can't? Oh look, another nut. I'm just gonna keep collecting nuts for us because I know we need like 100 to unlock that other area.
works for me.
Alright, I guess I'm gonna have to force quit.
Yeah, there shouldn't be a wall here. I saw you go through a hole.
Oh, see, that's what was happening to me last time, Rain.
Oh, interesting. It was just loading.
I can't go that way. I can't get out. I'm trapped.
No.
Okay, well, I know how I feel about that. I'm not gonna be trapped anymore.
Can't you just use your scepter?
That can work. That's what's his name. But see, I don't know how you get the birds to like appear on all those things. Like everywhere there's spots for birds, but I don't know what it does. See, I'm in level like 5th floor of the mine, whatever that means. But I'm stuck in every level because I didn't do it the right way.
Oh no.
What? This is the other farm, I guess.
Yeah, but
You're
oh
slow
no.
again?
Uh-huh.
Oh my god, it's snail rain.
Is there a bed in there? Okay, I won't die.
I didn't think you would. This is the best way to clear out farmland. What if we could go grow trees over here?
Field office. Let me in. I might just have to warp home.
Oh, you could go to sleep in the field office? I was wondering how that worked.
You can't. I just thought maybe I could try. cannot.
Yeah, I don't know where you're supposed to sleep, however. I don't know if you're supposed to. No! 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 Oh my freaking god!
Oh no!
I didn't mean to do that! I'm just gonna go to bed now and pretend that didn't happen and deal with it tomorrow. Oh, luckily I wasn't like in a major area with a lot of stuff to damage, I don't think. I'll see what the damage is in the morning. I just went to bed. I was like, I can't deal with this. And this is why I never have red bombs in my inventory. Because
That's why you need
accidents
to
happen.
switch your tool.
I know.
Okay, yeah, I am Speedy again.
I'm throwing those suckers away right now. Oh.
Alright, I'm gonna collect what you can.
What happened here?
Oh crap! I got kicked.
Oh
You
no!
kicked or you quit?
I was doing good for so long. I'm gonna see if I can rejoin.
You can't put like pavers down where you dug up. You gotta bury it first. Okay. Ay. How do I hold this up again? Oh, it's pickaxe, right?
Mhm.
Which makes no sense to me.
Oh. Alright, I'm gonna move.
Oh, I couldn't see what I was doing. Cat blows up the farm again. I'm missing a battery thing. I'm guessing that one got blown up. I mean, a lightning rod.
Probably.
There. Check the mail. I mailed her out. Gus. Gus made me food. Vegetable medley.
Yum. Well, I'm at the main page, but I can't. It's just loading after that. So. Oh.
No!
It lasted
It always.
longer than last time, though.
I think you get mad because we went to that other place. Maybe.
Must have. I guess I'm just gonna have to do Ginger Island on my own farm.
I think.
I don't think that's what it is, because I think it'd only get mad if I was there, you know? Like, I don't think that it
know.
would kick me if...
I feel like that's when all your problems started last time. That was when I visited there.
No, I'm pretty sure they started before that.
Yeah.
I think our internet's just not as good as it used to be because we don't have fiber anymore.
Ew.
I know.
It's like we quote unquote have fiber, but it's not really fiber.
What is
The
it?
wild point.
It's coax, but they claim it's fiber.
What are you doing out here?
It's still crappy, so.
Hey.
I need to go see if I can win some extra Pokeballs and stuff. I don't do the Poke Daily Discord thing hardly ever because I'm terrible. I just forget about it. And now I can't even find where I buried that server at. In my stack.
Lizard hatched.
Ooh.
What are we naming it?
Lizzie McGuire.
It'll be
There you
Lizzie
go.
for short.
Super ball and a friend ball. I feel weird being in the middle of the screen. There we
Hey
go.
now.
Alright, I'm incubating another one.
Okay.
We're gonna have all the dinosaurs.
Yeah. Oh, did all these flowers get harvested or did I destroy them?
I did
Oh.
not take any flowers today.
These weren't flowers. They were, it was rice. I harvested it.
Oh, did you take it to the mill?
Yes, I did.
Sweet. What does it make? Flour?
Rice.
Rice?
It mills the rice.
Cool.
So it makes it just regular rice.
Um,
Yeah.
that is cool. What was I gonna go look for again? I forgot. Oh. Should we restart the day so she can join?
I mean, it's still loading for me, so.
Yeah.
We
Well, maybe at the
could-
end of this day, we'll like just. I'm
Yeah.
gonna close my game.
Yeah.
To see if that helps.
Okay.
do that.
What the heck?
I know her.
Don't do that.
You sweet baby.
I like
Hey!
my cute little tiger slimes.
Oh, I remember now. Let's gonna go see Marnie and see about chickens. I don't have enough blue chickens yet. Purchase animal. Purchase chicken. Oh my gosh! Hi, Crisis! Welcome, welcome, welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for the 54 months. Welcome, man. Hope you're doing awesome. Hope you're home and comfy and cozy. Oh gosh. That's the correct response so you finally made it home as well. Finally made it home. He's screaming about it. That's funny.
Pretty accurate.
It's a brown chicken. I'm just gonna start naming it brown chickens. So I can throw away the chickens that are blue chickens. When I buy chickens, like I'm gonna name it.
Why do you want
That's-
to throw away the blue chickens?
Because you have to keep buying them over and over until you get blue ones, because it's like a percentage chance.
Oh, gotcha.
Once you meet all the requirements, you can get them, but you have to you have to be like, oh no, this is another brown chicken. And then you just keep buying them until you get a blue one.
Round 2.
See? Blue. That one's blue. It says it at the top of my screen, so I know this one's a blue one.
Ah.
It'll tell you blue, white, or brown. And then, so this will be my second blue chicken that I own. So what should we name it?
Teal.
Huh?
Teal.
Teal.
Another shade of blue.
Next one will be Periwinkle.
Periwinkle. Okay, so one name will say it's blue. Okay. It says, yeah, for 15 hours on Saturday. Oh my god. Yeah, I was supposed to be home like 2 hours ago, but my flight from Atlanta to Sarasota got delayed because the plane we originally got on decided needed to go down for maintenance right before we hit the runway. Wow.
Classic.
I'm glad you weren't on it. Oh no, she ran away. She says that's it for you today. No more chickens. Have you been to that strange tower west of my house? One time I heard this terrible, unworldly noise coming from there. Yeah, I believe it.
Probably the wizard and the witch getting it on.
I mean, this coming from the person that apparently buried Jazz in her cow field, or the cow ate it.
Hey, get out of there! No water.
I don't know. But we accomplished getting one more blue chicken, so now I can go back to the farm and I can sell the baby chickens that we don't want. I don't know if it needs maintenance just to get me home or let me have it forever sleeps. Oh no. Good luck. I hope you can go to sleep soon and get some real rest and actually enjoy your day tomorrow. Oh, that's right. I was like going in here yet. I'm gonna go over to the chickens and look at these little babies I put in here. Can you sell baby chickens?
Yeah, you should be able to.
So, yes. I did. I sold the babies.
Alright. So,
And what's that
do
one
you have
say?
that
Nuggets.
rare seed with you?
KFC. Huh?
You have that
Oh,
rare
I put it
seed?
in the seed box.
Okay, cool.
It's in the seed box.
There it is.
And you're not blue. You're a void chicken. Saw you just because you says your name's blue, and I don't like that. See the little baby blue chicken? Look, it's so tiny and blue.
Oh.
Yeah,
It's a little
baby one.
baby. Little baby chicken. Teal, 1 month baby chick. And then, yeah, KFC, you can stay alive. I do need more void chickens, though. We have Pika. We have 1 void chicken so far. Let me see how many void chickens are here. I think this coop is becoming all dinos.
Alright.
Maybe
Yes, it
this
is.
coop should have been dinos and blue chickens, but no, I guess it's just gonna be dinos now. Potato. I'm gonna sell potato. Yeah. The 1 blue chicken looks over the dinos. That's what it is. The blue chickens are the keepers of
Dino keeper.
Yeah, the keepers of the huts. Like this one has a bunny, 2 ducks,
Hey.
2 regular chickens, and what is that?
Oh no!
Is that
Oh
a
no!
regular chicken? Yeah.
What? What'd you do?
That's a white chicken. That's a brown chicken.
I went and put an extra like seed maker
The
between
void.
the banana tree and like another row of seed makers.
Oh no, are you getting like
And
tons
I
of
proceeded to start just making banana
infinite?
tree saplings. Just keep like going. Actually, no, it
Constantly.
Like making infinite produce?
no. Actually, it was.
Oh, you cleared it.
You know what? Oh yeah, I cleared this out. I'm redoing it.
Also, I only get off tomorrow. I get to fly up to New York on Monday, so I get 1 weekend day this time.
Hey, you should visit.
Oh, you only
Thor and
get
Rose
1
while
day
you're there.
weekend? Yeah, you should visit Thor and Rose while you're in New York.
Oh, hey. Where in New York are you going?
Yeah, what
If
part,
it's the city, it's
Crisis?
a little far.
I am being silly wonky goose, and
Wait, you're putting a chest next to each one, or are you just carrying it?
I'm putting one each
Put
one.
next to each tree.
Uh-huh.
Oh, is that why they're flashing like Christmas tree lights right now? Oh my god. Merry Christmas to farm production of fruit.
Crisis, Syracuse is like an hour and a half from where I am.
Hey, at least.
Dang. We're gonna have infinite fruits
And
of
they'll
every
just
kind.
fill.
Do we have every kind of fruit tree planted?
Yes.
I love that the fruit's like flashing.
Yeah, it's because it's soon as it's instant grow, instant harvest, instant grow, instant harvest is what's happening. So if I sit here and I open one of these chests, you can see the number climb. The banana has 144, 147, 150, 153. It's gonna keep flashing until those trunks are full.
Yep. And I think it's a fantastic idea. Because then we could just turn it off.
It's just Crisis asked a couple more questions, Rose. So you know where
Yeah,
Del
I said.
High is? Yeah, you can message
Yeah,
me
it's
if you want.
I can also talk. It's like
You can DM me.
east of Syracuse, so it's close to closer to like Albany, like in between Syracuse and Albany, I think. So it's farther away than Syracuse would be. What are you barking at?
Dang, y'all gonna be in the same state for a day.
Unfortunately, it's a much bigger state. Yeah, I'm on the
He
west
gets
side of Syracuse. I'm closer
yeah.
to Buffalo.
So he gets bored going to lunch by himself all the time. Rip. Yeah. Yeah, I was kind of sad today. I opened my Pokemon gifts and I had one from Thor from North Carolina. And I was like, oh, it's been that long ago since he probably gave it to me. Like, he doesn't live there anymore.
I need to add Thor as my friend. We need to be friends.
He'll be in Delhi Monday night, Tuesday, and probably work in Syracuse Airport
Pretty
Wednesday
sure it's
and
called
probably fly out
Delhi.
of there somewhere on Thursday.
Gotcha. Man, if it wasn't during the week, I could probably swing it to come see you when you
But
were
you
in
gotta work.
Syracuse. But yeah, I gotta work, so
New job,
yeah, I
new
don't have any
life.
days off yet. And we have this big event coming up that I need to get like $25,000 in
So what kind of
sponsorships for that I only have $7,000 in sponsorships for. So got a lot of work
what kind
to
of
do.
seats are you planning? Or you got plans in here for trunks and seats too?
English pronunciation of Delhi? Yes, I was. I'm always
Yeah,
gonna
I
ask
mean,
the
I
question.
called it Del High. I didn't know what it's called.
You were wrong. What? No, I'm right. I'm right.
It is
The
Del
fuck?
High.
The fucking shit? No, it's Delhi.
Yay!
Listen, one
I
thing
got a
about New
word
York
right.
State is the pronunciation you think would make sense is not the pronunciation that it is.
So they speak Mononese. It's Indian. Oh.
Fucking stupid.
So like we have Chili is one of our cities and it's pronounced Chili, not
I have
Chili.
heard about that, and that's really fucking stupid.
Yeah,
Okay, I know what I'm gonna do.
all of it
Work,
is. Hi.
farm, bed, because then we're gonna
I
restart the
mean,
game. See if we can get back in here.
Yeah.
I
And
guess it's kind of like Saline, Michigan. It's spelled like saline.
Oh yeah.
Oh. Who sold the wine? We could have turned that into like special wine.
It was special
Oh,
wine.
special wine.
Oh, it is
It was
ancient
a
fruit
single
wine.
special wine.
Oh, it's a single one. We got 4,620 gold for
Yeah.
one bottle of wine.
Yeah.
Dang.
That's that
A
good
wild
shit.
geode.
Not
We also have
pronounced like the
Nevada,
state.
Kansas,
How
but
the
it's not pronounced like the state. What?
do you
Well,
pronounce
how do you
that?
pronounce it? Nevada? I hate
Yes,
Oh,
I
that.
did it.
Nevada. Oh
And
my god.
Nevada. Ew. That sounds like a new like a new age name that someone would name their child to try and be different.
Nevada. It sounds like California. Duh.
I mean, Aletha doesn't even make sense to me. Fucking way it's spelled.
Duh. How? What?
Aletha.
Ole, o, la, the, ola,
Aletha.
the,
It's Aletha.
o,
No,
le,
it's stupid.
the. Ole, the. Okay, like, so like
No,
Ole, like the
Aletha. It's
product?
Aletha. No, Aletha. Mono. Aletha. It's the, not the.
I
Stupid.
mean,
Completely stupid.
this is words are hard with crisis. What was I gonna turn on? I was looking to see if I had a mod turned off, but I thought, no, I don't think I do. What happens if I turn animals to Pokemon on? Does that mod actually work right now? We'll find out.
I don't know.
Let's see if we have Pokemon Ghost by chance. I don't think the mod. I may have to update that mod or something, but we're gonna try real quick since I had to restart the game anyway. We might have Pokemon in a second. We might not. We might just have normal ghost animals. Oh, that's the other one. Was the tractor could be a Pokemon too, but I didn't hit that one. Oops.
I still can't get past the home page.
Oh, I
I'm on
haven't
the
started the
homepage now. She
game.
just rebooted
Well,
it.
not even
I get.
like I can't click on anything. Like I can't click on load or
Oh.
Oh, so your game itself is just completely locked up?
yeah.
Can you force quit it?
I did. I restarted it a couple times. I guess I could try restarting my computer, see if that helps.
Yeah, if you want.
Alright, I'll be back in a sec.
Okay. And I gotta get you a new code. Unplugging it and plugging it back in. Yeah, because our start is locking up, and this is like a low usage game. It shouldn't be locking anything up. Okay, let's go find invite codes before I get too far. And paste it in chat for you guys. Okay, it's pasted in chat for Rain and Lemon. Probably mods, they can do buggy things. Well, she doesn't have anything modded, and she can't get her game to even turn on. It's not even trying to join me. She can't get her game to start up. Oh, I bet she needs to go to Steam and repair files. I bet something's broke.
Oh, maybe.
If she goes to the game on Steam and does properties and repair files or whatever, she might need to do that. She doesn't have mods now.
No.
Her game just won't start up at all. So she might need to repair her files.
Yep, so directionally challenged. I thought that was south of Wichita, not north. I'm dumb.
No, just me and Rain do. She's still technically new to it, even though she's probably got like 400 hours now.
Yeah.
Directionally challenged training.
Yeah. Always.
Challenge. And her computer decided to update.
I mean, sometimes I'm challenged too. Depends on the day. Oh. Gotta reboot my game too. It was slow again. What the fuck? Stop do this.
I'll have her remind me to show her how to repair files on Steam. Her game needed.
No. Oh, fuck, it disappeared. Where does it do
Better
this?
than just being challenged. Hey now, what's it supposed to be? Just kidding. I could get some more wine though. Yeah.
speedy fast again.
Yay, you're not running in slow motion.
Mm-mm. I had to reboot again so I could.
I told her before she rejoins, we can do the repair thing.
Oh yeah.
Just to
yeah.
make sure. I think you go to library and you right click on your game and you go to properties and install files and verify integrity. There it is under install files. Okay.
Oh, we could literally just go to the Junima hut and turn off the harvest thing for them.
Oh.
It's good to know. Cellar. Oh, you should probably freeze time.
I did. Guess I did.
I don't know. I can't tell. Maybe you did.
Okay, I typed in instructions for her how to check her file integrity.
I have added another chest into our cellar. Actually, you know what? No.
Let's see. Okay. So, yeah, time did not freeze. You were right. Freeze time. Okay, what time do you want it to be?
That's fine. We're fine. I just needed it frozen.
So, yeah, so she can get back in and I can get back going. And I am going to go grab some wine because that's most important.
I do need to grab another Mountain Dew.
Yes, you go grab another Mountain Dew. I go grab another wine. Crisis is in charge. Dude, you're in charge.
He actually sticks around.
What? Oh crap! Yeah, you gotta watch chat for me while I go get some more wine.
Because I'm walking away too.
Yeah, and she's playing. She's not modding. She's a slacker. Just kidding. Yeah, she's playing. But yeah, I'll be right back. Be the worst person to leave in church. It's just a few minutes. It'll be okay. You can do this. You got it. You got it. I'll be right back. All this farming is like making me want to eat the salad in my fridge that is like strawberries and spinach and stuff like that. I like, ooh, strawberries. Ooh, spinach. Mm. Genshin! Genshin's messaging. Oh, Swiss Miss and dark chocolate popcorn?
Super good.
How are they?
I haven't tried the purple one yet, but the Swiss Miss one's
What?
pretty fucking good.
Yeah. We're back. We're back, Crisis. So what you got planned tomorrow? Sleep in and play games? They were very unruly. When you need a pay raise, you had to ban them all. That's why I don't see any of them. All the messages were erased because they were so unruly. Sleep in and have no idea. Sometimes that's the best thing, is to have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
Just sleep in. Priorities. Get some Z's, wake up in your own bed. Then get up and do whatever you want to do. Dad wanted to see me because they're in Florida, but they'll be the way down in Naples, and I don't want to go down there. Oh, wow. It's too far, right? Dad, you need a day off.
Crisis, get a day off? What?
Yeah. He needs that one whole day to rest and recover.
Mm-hmm.
It's a crazy schedule. Probably driving at 3 in the morning and everything else. I feel that in my bones.
It's like, I don't get a day off either, so it's okay.
Yeah, you don't, do you?
Mm-mm. Well, I haven't had a day off in about a month now.
She works 7 days a week, every day.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully in a couple of weeks I'll be sleeping in again.
I'd rather put this many hours stay around Florida versus all this stupid flying at 3 a.m. Yeah, I can't imagine flying at 3 a.m. all the time. Oh, I can't push buttons there. Drift Glim! I should have used an Ultra Ball. That's like my favorite. One of my favorites. Well, the baby version. Drift Glim. We're also playing Genshin right now. Taking a Genshin break. Just so you guys know, Stardew is on Genshin break, or actually, at the moment, Star Rail break. Same thing. Just kidding.
Oh, they're still going. Trees are still flashing.
Still flashing.
Yep.
I mean, my flights aren't until 5 and 6 a.m., but you gotta be up at the airport at least 2 hours before, so I'm usually, oh my gosh, no. Usually my hotel at 3 a.m., 4 a.m. to make sure I make it. Jeez, and then you don't get to sleep, probably, ever. Do you sleep at all? Like, how many hours a night do you get to sleep on days like that? Sometimes where you just go to bed at like 6 p.m. just to sleep. Maybe 5. Ouch. No, you need more sleep than that. Alright, Star Rail done. On to Genshin! Gotta do my Genshin check-in thingamajiggies. Somebody had the dumb idea to pay the $5 thing for the month, so I had to check in every 30 days in a row to get my money's worth.
Yeah, I feel that.
I was like, why did I do that to myself? Because I really wanted to, and now I don't, because I have to check in every day. And if I miss a day, I get upset. if I can even get to sleep. Yeah, with your schedule, I imagine. Falling asleep's really hard. I don't want the map. I don't want that. Claim all. Ooh, look at all those things. Alright, sorry Genshin, I can't play you right now. I just needed to do my Witcher things. Wait. McDonald's, thank you for the lurk. Thank you. Welcome to the stream. We're on intermission. No one wants snacks. No one potato chips. So we doing a Friends marathon in memory of Matthew Perry? Maybe.
Oh god. Won't be for a while.
We could. It can't be on Tuesday though. Rain has starting on Tuesday. It could be Thursdays.
Yeah, I got tips on Marvel.
It could be Thursdays. I don't know. But we won't know where Crisis is. Or if we did a marathon, it'd probably have to be like one Saturday where we just like watched them all day or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we did. They said it in chat. I'll be somewhere in the US, sorry.
Mm.
I've been told things will calm down soon, but I'm not holding my breath on it. I hope so. But yeah, I think if we do a marathon, it would have to be on like a Saturday or something, probably. And just watch a bunch at once. That way it's not like a work night for anybody. Because we already hold up work nights on Tuesdays. Alright. Back to screens. Gaming. Ah, why do I always have to pick up the rug? I always pick up the rug by accident. I don't know. Garlic, snail, crayfish, mussel. Here we go. We've definitely made the chowder before. I think. We have not made fish stew or escargot.
Escargot.
Yeah. Does it have a T on the end, really?
Uh-huh.
No. Really wants
It's
a
supposed to
plate
be
of
stupid
sashimi. I'll
friendship.
pay coin. Oh, I can go make sashimi right now. Sashimi obtained, and there's plenty in the fridge for us. Somebody else to make sashimi. Harry! Harry the platypus! Wait, no, wrong Harry.
Oh, shit.
Pick up some. I'll pick up some leaves and flowers along the way. I wonder where Pam's body is. I haven't found Pam's body yet. I'm Ricket. Perry is the guy at the store, yes. Behind the counter blues. You know what? Sashimi! I was starting to get the shakes. I wanted this fish so bad, so much. No, that's good. Now I want sushi. Thanks. Thanks, Perry. Now I want sushi. Oh, jeez. I hope they do calm down for you. They're just send me a picture of their fish tank now. I want fish.
No.
No fish, not even a beta. I just want to be able to stay in Florida for a bit at least, right? Stay in your home state. Not travel the world. Okay. Oh, found another secret note. Keep finding all the secret notes. 100% wood vacation there. Like, Tahoe was absolutely beautiful, and I wish I could have explored that place. Where's that at? What state is that? Nevada or what? Where's Tahoe? I don't even know.
Oklahoma?
Nevada? Okay, I was right. Just southwest of Reno. Good to know, good to know. Add to my travel list. Oh, that's right. Isn't there something back here behind the center if you, like, click on the right thing, or... Is there, like, a statue hidden back here or something? I don't remember exactly where, but you have to, like, click around and find out. And then there's a statue or something hidden back here. I don't know where exactly. You know what I'm talking about, right? The thing behind the...
Mm-hmm. I think you need your pickaxe for it.
Oh, cause see the hands there. When I hover, there's a hand.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it is the pickaxe. Stone Junimo! Oh, that's right. And I always forget on the 28th to come shake this bush. Shake the bush.
I got 7 game days, so.
Oh, there, outside the Junimo, outside the community center. It's cute. And we did finish. So it's beautiful in here, and nobody ever visits. We did all that work for absolutely nothing. Nobody's in here.
I know.
Really? I should move in here and make this my house. On the border of Cali. Vacation time. Haley and Emily, I hope you two are doing well. I've sent you your favorite gifts, pink cake and sunflowers for Haley. Ooh, anybody romancing Haley is pink cake and sunflowers for Haley. Gemstones and wool for Emily. Love, Mom and Dad. Got it, guys. Pink cake and sunflowers for Haley. Gemstones and wool for Emily. Michigan, it's gemstones and wool. I know you're not listening, but you might later. Ungrateful citizens. I'd romance Haley. She's just misunderstood. That's all, right? Right? I have yet to identify who's in the bath. We didn't identify.
Who's in the bathhouse?
Yeah. Who's dead in the bathhouse? Yeah, someone dead.
Where?
Huh?
Where?
I'll show you. They're dead in the bathhouse, but I didn't know who they were. They drowned. I don't know if there's anybody on the men's side, but on the women's side in the water, they're dead. Wait. Yeah. Right there. Beep. Like, who is that? Who drowned? Hmm?
What is that? I think that's Penny.
Poketch. Who wears a white dress? Or a dress with
She
a
does
ruffle
that,
at the
but
bottom.
It looks like it might be Penny.
Dress with a ruffle. It's the men's locker and we can't go in there. Dang it. I was like, why is my bathing suit blue? And then I'm like, why is it green? I forgot it's like I'm wearing like iridium clothes, so apparently my bathing suit's iridium now too. Oh, color changing bathing suit. Don't know what color to wear today? Wear all of them. I feel like there's more to the story, and I forget what part of the story I'm on. Like, aren't I supposed to talk to... I did the stuff with the witch. Place 10 beats inside the fridge of Mr. Q.
Hmm.
The mayor's fridge. Oh, okay. So we didn't do the mayor's fridge thing. I need to go place 10 beats in the mayor's fridge. That's part of the story stuff. Myrtle! Sure. I'm sure we have beats somewhere. We probably turn them all into juice and crap. Oh my god, there's something going on at the house. Welcome to clothing therapy. Oh my god, Emily, I know you have the hots for me, but calm down. You're probably wondering what is clothing therapy. I'll try to explain. So many of us are struggling with personal issues, things holding us back from living how we want. It's important to me that everyone has a free, and happy life. So I came up with a new kind of therapy to help people achieve that. It's based on the amazing power of self-expression. Self-expression is a wonderful healing tool. Did you know that? Behind this curtain, you'll find racks and racks of clothes. I'm glad you added clothes. There's endless options to choose from. Your job is to simply find the outfit that truly speaks to you and put it on. Feel confident in yourself and your choice. You all have a unique style to share with the world. Shane, you're up first. Oh. He's like, what the hell? Okay. So he's going in. Ah, Cat 2.0. You're just in time. Just observe and keep an open mind, okay? Nothing weird going on here, Cat. Nothing weird. Wow. Cool. Shane, it's a new side of you we've never known about. That's great. Now go outside with confidence and show the world. And he's like, dot, 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 dot. Sure. Okay, everyone gets a turn. I'm like, I don't even know what they're wearing because they're all in ghost mode, so it's like so transparent I can't see what it really looks like. Clint's like, oh no. Oh no, she goes, hee hee hee. Oh my. Beautiful. Oh, she winked. Let's see what Demetrius thinks. Oh my god. Why not, says the mayor. Let's see what the mayor comes out wearing. Hee hee hee. Not bad. He looks like a cowboy wizard. Looking sharp. Me next. Uh-oh. What the hell? Very nice. She's a knight. Oh my gosh. It's sweaty in here. Mix, hi, welcome. Oh no. Hey, oh no. Clint, you're up next. Oh god, Clint crushes on Emily so bad, so he's so nervous. Me. Okay, Emily, I'll do it. Hi, Mix. How goes it? Hope you're doing awesome. Welcome to Stardew, where everybody's ghosts and you can find their bodies dead around the farm. Now they're doing clothing therapy. Oh, he's got like a beret and a Hawaiian shirt or something? I don't know. Some kind of spotted shirt. Cute. Sigh. Oh no, is it my turn? Well, that went well. I just hope this experience helps everyone break out of their shells a bit. I think you're just wanting to sell clothing, Emily. I'm just relaxing. How about you, Mono? I'm doing good. I'm enjoying some Ghost Stardew Valley and just hanging out and chatting, and it's Saturday, so I've had a pretty relaxing day. I was actually quite unproductive, which is rare for me, so it was a good day. I actually did nothing other than stream. This is the first thing I've done productive all day. And that's hard to believe for me, because usually I've done like 500 things by the time I make it to stream, and I'm exhausted. Hold the thought. Okay. I wonder how much he missed. I don't know. I couldn't do it. I don't want to break out of my shell. Clint's back. His eyes are wide open. Oh, I guess I'm interrupting something here, aren't I? Oh no.
No!
No, he died.
I lost connection.
I understand. I'll leave now. Congrats, Kat.
Okay.
No,
okay,
Clint,
okay.
it's not like that.
You're
I'm
Kat.
married. It's Emily. She's the one being like that. Emily's like, what the heck?
Oh.
Emily's like, what the heck? Oh, you gotta put beets in there, I think.
Let me load in. Okay.
No! It's not letting you load in now?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay. The town's lost and found box. You can collect incomplete deliveries from past special orders here. Collect lost and found items and incomplete deliveries. Retrieve items from the offline farm hands. What?
Oh yeah. Anyone who's not playing.
You can collect their stuff?
Uh-huh.
Interesting. So let's see what Jeff Bezos has. Nothing of super urgence that I need.
Sell it all.
Let's see. Well, I don't have enough room in my inventory right now. Let's see what Michigan has. He's got some pretty cool stuff, but nothing I need. And splints. What does splints have? Oh, he's only got old tools. That sucks for him. Okay, collect lost items and complete deliveries. Oh, old tools. I don't need any of those.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because we just.
Almost done. Okay, back. Welcome back. Welcome back. I don't know what you missed because of the ad break. I'm sorry. Where did I leave off at? Good job. You final task. Give the damn dragon his last meal. What? Oh, is that the prismatic shard in the desert? Oh, pretty sure that's what that is. Hello, I asked how you were. I am doing great. I actually did a lot of nothing today, which is super rare for me. Hold on 1 second.
I bit my tongue.
Her computer's being, Lemon's computer's being really slow at updating. It's at 6%, so at this rate, she's like calling it a night. I'm like, it's okay, no problem. Oh yeah, I'm back for it. Yeah, I was a bum today. I don't know how to do that. I'm usually like overproductive and I've done like 500 things and I'm exhausted by the time I make it to stream. But today, I actually did nothing. I woke up at 9 and stayed in bed till noon. Did nothing. Got up. I went to Dunkin' Donuts, got a bacon avocado toast and they have a frozen drink that they actually blend the pumpkin munchkins inside of it. It was really good. So I took those things and went to the park and sat at the park for 2 hours. And I was going to walk, but I didn't. I just actually sat there and played Pokemon for 2 hours and ate my Dunkin' stuff. And then I came home, went back to bed. And then I streamed. That's it. That's my whole day. It's awesome. I never do that. You had a lazy day too? That's awesome. I'm glad you had a lazy day. Everybody needs it. Sounds like a good day, right? I don't know how to do that. I have a really hard time doing that because I'm so hard on myself when I don't accomplish like 500 things in a day. But it all worked out. That's right. We're going to the desert, right? Justin's a pretty good guy. Are you friends? Yes, I'll buy a ticket. Go to the desert.
Yay.
Yeah. No, being harsh on yourself, only kind. Yeah, it's really hard. I honestly am really hard on myself because I feel like I should achieve so much more than I am. I'm bad about it. I don't look back and go, hey, this is what you achieved this week. This is what you've achieved this month. This is what you have achieved in the past year. I look and go, what have I not achieved in the past year instead? And it's bad.
So you can unpause time since we're not waiting on her to join us again.
Yes. Time. Unfreeze. Hey, or you'll go bonks? Yeah. I feel like that happens sometimes. I just have to have a mental day where I do nothing. And it's really hard to do nothing. But I'm proud of myself because it's probably the first time I've done that in a long time. But I've also been sleeping better, so that's good too. You can turn prismatic shards into jelly. Harvested from the rare and exclusive prismatic slime. There's a prismatic slime? We have one of those?
Nope.
We need a prismatic slime. I want prismatic jelly. Oh, we had to feed the dragon. Let's feed the skeleton. What do we feed the skeleton? Oh, the thing. Check the pile of lumber next to your house. Of course, it would be next to my house. And that's no longer lumber because I have a new skin. Do I have to
forget
use,
that
like...
we're using the same skin.
Of course we are. It's modded Stardew. You have done plenty. Sorry I haven't been around. I am back in the medical field and getting ready to be back in school in January. Oh, dang. What you gonna study? What you gonna major in?
Oh.
And then...
Get it.
Poke catch. I don't know how to grab this item. It's being weird. The pickaxe again? Rain, why can't I pick up stuff?
Probably because you already looked at it?
No, it's got the white hand. The white hand is active. But it's not letting me pick up the note. This is the next phase of that quest. I gotta pick up this note in the pile of wood that I can't grab. I bet my skin. Maybe my skin's not letting me step close. No, it would have nothing to do with the skin. It's just a reskin.
So I can do it too.
Oh, hi. Thanks for the kisses.
I didn't mean to do that.
Come back. More kisses. Cybersecurity, then I fall back on data analyst. That's awesome.
Huh.
So not medical though.
You should just be able to put it in the center of the...
It's just another prismatic shard into the center of that doohickey, right? But I didn't know if it would let me skip picking up the note when it's actually highlighted. It just won't let me.
No.
Pick it up! Because he told me to come here and pick up the note, and instead I'm just kissing you. This is only temporary. Well, I wish you the best of luck, and I know you can do it. So I'm excited to hear about your journey. Maybe you can teach me some stuff.
You just have to put the prismatic shard in the middle.
Is that part of the QI quest, though?
No.
Hmm. Well, this is the QI quest, is to read this dang note that it won't let me read. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Of course, yes. Teach me how to be safe on the internet. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for the follow. Baby blueberry. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Will do. Okay, okay, okay. You're gonna learn all the secrets. Cheers. Yes. Cheers. What are you drinking, Mix? What are you drinking? What's your drink of choice tonight? Also, I have all these little Halloweeny emotes right now. They're so cute. I'm loving them. Oh, when I change my cat, it changes the skin on my cat.
Mm.
It took the other skin off. Oh, we were gonna check and see if the Pokemon were weird. But yeah, there's a Ghost Eevee, a Reaper Snorlax, a Witch Pikachu, a Devil Charmander, and a Skeleton Ghastly. I think I got them all. I don't know.
Oh, the.
Look at all them Pokemons! Yes, gonna get them people out of your data, right? I need it, I need it, I need it. Okay. Well, we're gonna see if it actually turned my animals when I turn on the Pokemon thing. I don't think it did because I don't have the skin loaded. It did. Yeah. I need to re-download that mod and let it update the skin so I can actually have Pokemon animal skin. Right now I have ghost animals though. Migs, you know you want to play Stardew. I remember a day when you played. You played Stardew once. Once or twice. See my blue chick? Got a baby blue chick in there. And then over here I have a grown-up blue chicken and a bunch of dinosaurs, but all my animals are ghosts right now. They're ghosts. And these things, I don't even know what they're collecting. Just everything.
Just
Somebody
random
just
stuff. Oh,
emptied it.
Yeah, I empty it and sell it.
It's empty! No!
Yes!
Not that.
No!
Oh, I gotta go drop
Oh,
this
thank God.
truffles off to make truffle oil. Truffle oil! There we go. I think Migs, also you played TFT with me a couple times as well.
No, don't run away. Oh, thank God.
And Borderlands.
Sorry, I'm trying to catch the fucking seasonal Gengar.
Seasonal Giga. Oh, he's so cool. I did catch him and I made him my buddy in Pokemon
Yeah,
Go.
I saw that.
Yeah, he's my buddy.
And apparently I didn't have a Gengar because I couldn't trade my Haunter. So now I have a Gengar.
Ah,
Oh my God.
I'm putting some beets if you need some beets in Rosa's chest so that she can
Sweet.
do the beets thing. But you only need 10, so you leave her a few.
It was just
Wait,
the
what, huh?
quest.
Oh, let's talk about the different games we've played together. You've played this one, you've played TFT, you've played Borderlands. What else have we played? Did we play Closers together, or was that just Image? Might have just been image. So many games. Yeah. That's been a long time. Oh no, what does the fish need? They want
it needs
a
an
blue
aquamarine.
ball. They want an aquamarine.
Yeah, I have
Crazy
my shiny
fish.
embryon.
Aqua. I don't know. Aquamarine. Oh wow, they jump out of the water when you feed them. There's a blobfish in here. Totally down to do a game night. Just let me know. Okay. We have to figure out what though. Have you played any Phasmo? I played it for the first time the other day.
It's so much
Alright,
fun.
I'm gonna go to bed. I'm beyond exhausted. Okay, good night. Thank you so much, Princess, for being a mod and hanging out as much as you can. Get some sleep. Enjoy your one day off. And definitely sleep in. Tomorrow your Catterday. Oh? Good job, Rain. CP time. Good night, Crisis Dude. Yes. Enjoy your day off. Get all the sleeps and stuff. We made, what kind of fish did we sell? Sandfish.
Oh yeah, I
And
caught it.
we made coffee and seeds and clay, a chicken statue. I didn't even know you could sell the chicken statues.
Yeah, you can sell your artifacts.
An uncrushed geode. Thing. All the flowers. Dang! Some pickled corn, pickled eggplant. Oh, that sounds gross. That sounds really gross. Alright, we're good. We sold all kinds of stuff. No, I don't want to go to sleep. Wake up! I kissed you.
Oh, thanks.
There we go.
Fun.
Yeah. I'm gonna hand you something. No, I don't want to eat it. Wake up, you got sashimi for you for breakfast.
Thanks. I'm trying to do a thing.
And then I'm like, did you give, who was it the one, did you give Perry sashimi yet?
Yes. Yes, he's got this.
You did. So you don't need sashimi.
No.
I'll put it in the fridge. What happened to our cooked food fridge? Did we, like, get rid of all our cooked food fridge?
I sold it all.
What?
I sold a lot of it anyway.
I'm selling everything. Okay, then this fridge will be the cooked food fridge. And then I'll put some cooked food over here. I gotta figure out what recipes I can make, but I gotta keep putting more and more items in there to make things. Myrtle. Alright, ghost horse. You're my ghost horse of the day. Let's go.
What does this lady want?
Let's see if we can discover any new bodies today.
Largemouth.
I feel like we haven't found every dead body on the farm yet for this mod.
Probably haven't.
Oh, why is that mod not working? Oh, did I take away the skinny mod? Maybe. Nope. Get off the horse. There. Ooh, we're gonna check crab chat server. What is that? What the hell? What is that brown thing floating out there?
Can you catch it?
No? I'm so confused. I don't know what that brown thing is, though.
Interesting.
You see it, though, right?
Yeah.
It's like a floating, warbly rock.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember seeing that before. Okay, so we have baits.
See. I don't see
Okay.
it. That's weird.
And
Oh,
I need to.
I think it's a body.
Is it? Oh, it's a hat. Is it Willie's hat? It's
Might
Willie's
be.
hat, isn't it? Did you just collect everything out of the crab traps that I came over here to collect?
What?
I just came over here to collect stuff out of the crab traps, and I think you collected it all.
I don't have anything in my thing.
Okay, let's see. Maybe it's because we don't have it. We haven't crafted any stuff yet.
No bait.
You're drunky? Oh boy.
Oh goodness. Turtle, I
Oh
think you
my.
need to go to bed.
Did you say you were drinking something too, Mishik? I mean, Mix? I don't think you did. You got water, right? You're being healthy, unlike all of us on a Saturday night. There. Okay, I'm refilling the crab traps because I need them to produce some stuff for me. Alright. Why won't they go in the crab trap? Having difficulties loading these things. You do know the pictures actually slightly change on the crab trap? The graphics when they're full?
Yeah.
I never noticed that before, what they looked like. Huh. Cool.
Oh my god.
Nah, I got coffee and water. Ooh. Sounds like a good deal. You don't drink anymore? Oh, that's awesome. I mean, not drinking's is best for you, to be fair.
Mm-hmm. It
I
is.
don't have any Pokeballs. So just not have. I can't keep any balls. I seriously need to go through my Pokemon inventory and get rid of some Pokemon. I think that's the issue.
I have Sprigatito as my buddy now.
Sprigatito! You know, why don't I have Sprigatito? No, I have Gengar as my buddy in Pokemon Go. And I am wearing a Gengar outfit. Yeah. That's what I'm doing.
You know, I have a Sylveon and I have the little bow, the Sylveon bow. For
Do
my hair.
you?
Yeah.
Nice.
But I also have the Pokemon Sun and Moon earrings. I wear those all the time in mine.
Let me look Jeez. Don't see it. Okay. Carbuncle. No, nobody's tried to catch it yet. Alright. What is it? All kinds of goodies. Oh, there was like magic bait. I could have used a magic bait. I could just like create a whole bunch more crab pots too. Because I feel like we never have what we need. You see nothing, nothing. It's not like magic or anything. Da-da-da. Wonder how close we can plant crab pots to the edge of the water. Pretty much at the edge of the water. Oh no, it picked it up. Can I put one here? No. Put one there. You can get them pretty close to the edge. It's weird. The spacing is just weird on this. I don't like the spacing. I didn't do it. Yeah, and then it just picks them back up. We're just gonna have crab pots everywhere. And then I'm gonna fill them up with bait. These two get magic bait. Because I have 2 pieces of magic bait. I think you're right though. I think that is a hat over there, and I don't know where the body is. I don't know where the body is. Okay, I don't think I put anything in that one. Alright, I loaded all these crab traps. I'm gonna put the extra bait away because I don't need it. And then we're not going to. I'm gonna toss those.
Nope.
Oh.
Train.
Train has passed through.
Train.
Gonna sell some stuff. Gotta sing, give her some money. You think you can? I think it's time you teleport to the beach, not from the beach. But there's Rose's man, Elliot, dead on the beach. She's trying to marry his ghost. Or romance his ghost. There's his ghost. Although I don't think he's a ghost in her version, because she doesn't have mods.
Yeah. I was gonna say she's.
Do you have the ghost mod?
No, I don't have it on.
Oh, so if you guys want to know what mods I'm using, here you go. Oh, never mind. Stardew. Get it right. There you go. There's a document to the mods that I'm using. If you want gothic buildings and all that good stuff, ghost farm, fun times. There's documentation on how to do what I'm doing today. Oh, you replanted some of the things? Not all of it, though. Look at you, slacker.
Well, there's no point to, because we only have a handful of days.
Oh, it's gonna snow. It'll all be gone.
It's not gonna snow, it's gonna turn into summer.
Oh. Well, new season, new crop. Well, some of the crops carry over. I was thinking it's gonna turn into winter already.
Oh.
Shush. I don't know what I'm talking about, apparently. Come over here. And we're gonna pick up this guy. And then we're gonna come all the way out here. And we're gonna try that prismatic shard thing, which doesn't work for me.
I forgot.
It's not working. It's because I gotta
Maybe
do the
we already
note
did
thing.
it.
Maybe.
Because that just gives you the galaxy sword.
Yeah, well, we gave ourselves the galaxy swords, so I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I bet I could use that coconut in the fridge. No, I think there are some coconuts in the fridge. What does this person have for sale? Warp totems to warp to the desert, artifact trove, mega bomb, spicy eels, warp totem desert recipe. Oh, that's to learn how to make them? Oh, it takes iridium bars to buy that though. Butterfly hutch, green turban. Oh, there's a magical rainbow color turban. Birch double bed. He's got all kinds of cool stuff. They cost items that I don't have. Farmhouse. Mono is still here just playing Honkai. Or Turtle will kill me. Why will Turtle kill you? If you don't play Honkai? Or if you don't stay? I mean, I was just on here earlier and took like the break and said, "Hey guys, I gotta check my Star Rail and my Genshin," and just kind of had like a just chatting moment while I checked it on my phone, and then I had to have an intermission to do that. If I don't play Honkai, also what? Legs, welcome. I will always stay. Aww. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Hi, Legs. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Mod in chat. We have another living mod.
I forgot Legs was made a mod because
Yeah.
you didn't have one.
We didn't have one that night, and he's like, "Why aren't I mod? I could help." Like, see, now he doesn't know what he's gotten himself into. That means he needs to show up on, like Fridays and Saturdays when he doesn't have to work so he can help. Almost 5 a.m. here, but hey, you're awake anyway. We know it. You're always awake.
Yeah. Oh no, it's after midnight.
I'm coming, dear. I'm coming to bed. If I can get through the front door. Jeez. It's almost midnight here. Wow, I love you. I am kidding. Oh. Okay, worm bed, dress spinner, and barbed hook. You're okay with it? Sweet. You're awesome. Thank you for being here. Day 23 of spring, year 2. I love to help, and you know what? You do. You like helping people. You like creating things, and you like helping. Our blobfish is just sitting at the bottom of the tank doing nothing. How rude.
Yeah, sounds about right.
There's only 2 fish in that tank, by the way, anyway. Oh, there's another blobfish in this tank. Didn't we put, like, all our rare fish in these tanks? Isn't that what we did? Like, this tank is all the rare fish, I think.
Yeah.
I bet that's a... Is that a void fish? Because no, it's crimson,
The crimson.
coral. We don't have a void fish in here. I had to go catch a void fish the other day. And I know where to catch them. I am lurking already for 1 hour. Same time I'm a ghost mod. No! You're ghosting me. Just kidding. Oh. Alright, let's go. I think I want to go void fishing.
Many strawberries. Holy fuck.
Never! Good. Tomorrow we're all getting together for the flower dance. If you can find a partner, you might even want to participate in the dance yourself. There's a little clearing beyond the forest west of town where I hold the dance right between 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. if you're interested. Mayor Lewis. We have to. Okay, what was I gonna go do? I was gonna go catch a void fish. That's what I wanted to do. I'll just go to the carpenters. Go that way. I'll show you how you catch one. But it's Halloween. It will be Halloween soon. Yes. Alright, void fish time. Let's go find a void fish for horse. Fishing in the witch's swamp for void fish. There we go. We got a void salmon.
Yes.
We'll put that dead salmon in our fish tank. See, I feel like those things should be dig spots too. But they're not. When is it gonna give us our next child? I'll tell you.
Good question. I don't even know.
Because we're like... Rest in peace, dear wizard. Rest in peace. Why did... I wonder if the witch tied him up to the tracks and had him run over.
Maybe.
Maybe she had him run over. I'd like to pretend I know what the stories are behind their dead bodies.
It's always fun speculating.
Yeah, like, I'm sure there's somebody dead in the cave somewhere, but I just don't know where. Like... Oh yeah, there it is. Right there. Is that what's her name?
That looks like Abigail.
Yeah, it looks like Abigail. Ew. Abigail died. Dude, Abigail.
Killed her.
Matthew! That's a cute bun drinking juice. Cave carrot soup and cave carrots au gratin. Okay. My goal now is to go home. Let's ride the minecart this time. To town. Ta-da! Oh, I should have went to the bus stop. And ride the minecart to the bus stop. Apparently we can ride the minecart to like the quarry and stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you got there the other day and did all the things you did in it.
No, I teleported.
And then, I forgot there's like a cave here too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's nothing special about it. We've already done it.
Yeah. It's a
That's all
great
you get is
line.
all you get is the
I just wanted to look. It's been so long since I've been in here. Just explore the gray spooky slimes.
I have so many tiger slimes in here.
I love the tiger slimes. That might be why.
Oh.
They're my favorite.
I just
You're
had
a
to
tiger
rescue
now.
one because it decided to be
A
behind
wild
an
Wurple
item.
appeared. Look at Wurple. You need it. Oh, those are lots of bunnies. Oh, those are so cute. Those are adorable. Oh, why is this thing trying to murder me? This skull. There. Those are so cute.
I've
Oh,
been
the
playing
angry
so much
one.
Baldur's Gate.
The angry one with his
Baldur's-
one tooth out. Ah! Stop trying to murder me, skulls.
I've officially been playing too much Baldur's Gate because I keep hitting Q and E to try and like change the camera angle.
Oh no. Oh, there's a Reaper in here?
Yeah, but oh, you didn't get the scythe?
No.
Silly.
Golden Scythe? No.
Yeah,
I've never been in here.
I thought you've been in there already.
I guess not. Did not get the golden scythe from the Grim Reaper. I just spawned in a gold scythe.
Fine.
I didn't do anything. Folk catch
Second
Lady Rain doesn't have Wurple. Wurple has been caught by Matthew and Lady Rain. I wonder if I have it. I wonder if you could poke check after it's gone. Probably not. Alright, yeah, apparently I had not gone in there and gotten the golden scythe. Now you guys know. Once you clear the doohickey, make sure you go to the quarry, make sure you go into this little cave. And go get your golden scythe. There is no purple scythe, which is what the galaxy scythe. There is no galaxy scythe, there's only a golden scythe. I didn't know the Grim Reaper was the keeper of the scythe. Let's see what kind of tools are in here. Well, I can leave the extra scythe at home. Ooh, fish and stuff. Artifact. Skeleton hand. Oh, there's a little mask. There's a dinosaur hat, a panda hat. There's clothes over here, too. Kitties! That makes me want to see Rain's cat. Your derp cat that spins. I love your derp cat that spins.
Oh. Isn't that derpy?
Derp cat's emo that
Oh, I got
spins.
you.
Oh, that's right. We're gonna plant trees over here so we can tap them. While I'm over here, we need maple.
Yeah.
You can make a maple bar, a sweet donut topped with rich maple glaze. What the heck?
Mhm.
You can make donuts. Mahogany. What other trees are there? Sunflowers. Ancient seeds. There's only 2 types of trees, right?
There's a few actually.
It's maple and mahogany?
No, maple, oak,
Oak.
pine, and mahogany.
Pine cone.
Yeah, you want a pine cone.
And then what's the oak one? What seed
Acorn,
is that? Acorn.
I think. It looks like an acorn. What is it?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now tell me why in the world in the cheat I can plant my own artifact spot.
Why
This is
not?
just the weirdest thing. I can plant my own squiggly worms, you know? Actually, no, you can't.
How did you get this in your inventory? Ape made a boo-boo?
Is that what your message just said?
Yeah, that's what it says on it.
Oh, yeah. That's
It
funny.
just sits in your inventory.
That's cute. Okay, we're trashing that.
Yeah.
We can do anything with those. But that's funny. Yeah, the spinny ones. Rain needs more stream again. Yes.
I do. I'm in school though, so it makes it a little difficult. It's like I don't allow myself to play games or anything until I get my schoolwork done. And if I'm
No.
behind, I don't get to do anything but schoolwork.
Okay, so we're gonna try planting a tree right there. And I think they have to have like 3 whole whatevers, but that might be too close. I don't know. I think they really have to be like really far apart.
Okay.
I don't remember how far though. Just gonna put stuff. I don't know if the mahogany. You can't harvest anything from mahogany, can you?
I think you just get hardwood from it. I think that's all it's.
Basically, the only ones we really need to tap then is what, maple and oak? Or
Maple,
something?
pine, and oak. Yeah. All
Pine and
3 of
oak,
those.
okay.
The regular ones. Alright, I guess I gotta spend my Pokestop at work tomorrow. Don't let me forget.
Okay.
I need to do it
Spin
when I get to work.
Pokestop. Okay, well, we just chop down some trees and plant some seeds and we'll see what happens. Because I'm pretty sure we can plant them like anywhere over here and tap them.
There's a pommy that I can catch that's nearby.
I'm putting them near what's his name's house too. We'll see what happens. We'll see which ones grow and which ones don't.
They should grow just fine out there.
Mm-hmm. There's a red slime. I haven't seen a red slime near the house before. Can I catch it? I just want to catch it. Put it in our slime hutch. Oh, I got the egg though. I literally just got the egg from it.
Oh yeah, go put it in our chest. I got one waiting to be hatched in there already.
Slimies. Oh, that's the greenhouse. Oh, we never finished our planting in there.
No, I'm still working on stuff in there.
Is that slime down there like trapped? No, he's a red one. He's actually loose in here.
He's okay.
And then add to our egg collection. Yeah, looks like we need purple and purple ones need to be raised. Is there incubators in there? Do they actually work? Or
Yeah,
are you just
yeah, the
reloading
incubators are in there. It just takes forever.
Okay.
You know I'm really good about checking my slimes.
I know you are. You're a good slime rancher. Wait, wrong game.
I still need Slime Rancher 2.
I do not have Slime Rancher 2. I never finished Slime Rancher 1. I got really close and then I quit. I was like right at the end game too, and now I don't even know how I got there or what I did, and I quit. I was like right at the end game. Yeah, I almost marked it done, and then I didn't, so I don't know. But yeah, I'm tired. I think that's it for me. Are you good?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's almost midnight, so I think I'm done. Stardewing.
I was wondering what happened.
What? I did hit okay.
Oh no, you're fine, Mono. I was talking to Dalton.
Oh, okay. But you guys are awesome. Thank you for lurking and listening. If you have any questions about Stardew mods or you want to play, let me know. Your Team Rainbow Cat Ears. Oh no, I'm ending stream.
Yeah,
Gonna have to refund those points to you.
It's wonky.
I can put them on, but I'm gonna refund the points to you because I'm gonna be ending. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, thank you. Thank you for the lurks and conversations. And Matthew, thank you for the lurks and conversations. And thank you all. Thank you. Let me check something real quick. What? Strawberry lucky cows are so cute. Cute. They're so cute. I love them. Let me look. Let's see. Let's go. Oh my. Jamie's live, and she's playing golf with friends. I should totally rate her, but then she's gonna be like, "Come play golf with me," and I'm gonna be like, "I want to go to sleep."
You are allowed to go to sleep.
Oh, I'm still gonna rate her anyway. But she's totally gonna be like that. Oh, now we're on ad break for 2 minutes, so I guess so. Get them to prepare. See. Coffee pasta and join me. Let's see. Oh, it's like a 2-minute ad break too.
It is. Sounds like something Puddles would do. Fucking stealing cookies. Puddles. It's Speaking
What
of
kind
houses
of
getting
cookie?
into
Yes.
trouble.
What kind of cookies? Cookies. And the ads continue for 1 minute. I will sip some wine. Yes. My schedule. Let me look real quick while we're doing this. My schedule. Next on my schedule is wafer cookies. That sounds so good. Schedule. Okay. Because I don't even know. I had to write it down. My schedule says next. Ooh. Okay. Next stream is Tuesday. It's the Halloween giveaway stream, guys. Tuesday. Yes. Hi, Sixer. So, Tuesday is giveaway stream. I'm typing because I feel bad that they can't see past the ads.
Great.
I'm like, Matthew, it sounds like you need some salt with that. Let's see, I think I have a command for that. No, that's angry. Or cat salty, there we go. Salty. Not sharing your candy. Okay, but yes, I was saying my next stream is Tuesday. It's Halloween. I will see you guys then. I'm gonna do a giveaway. Come say hi. Come say hang out. Of course, if you have other places to be, other things to do, I completely understand. But I will see you guys then. We're gonna go raid Jamie. I hope you got your emotes ready. Copied and pasted a second ago, or clicked on over to her stream and have it open and ready to go. I don't share with small humans. I used to do it. I thought about doing it this year. My neighbor has their house like super decorated next to me. And I feel really guilty because my house isn't decorated. Megs is pyro love. I love that it's spooky jack-o'-lantern looking dude too. Like, ooh. I love that. And like, got it. Alright guys, but join me for this raid. Copy and paste those emotes if you have mine. Do the, Cosmo Kitty Riot. If not, do the cookie num 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 emotes. And we're gonna go say hi to Jamie Wamey. She is awesome. It's really buff Jack. Yes, it is. Good night though. Good night, Legs. Good night, Mix. Good night, everybody lurking, listening. Good night, Matthew. Good night, Lady Rain. I'm like waving over here off screen at like, I don't know what I'm waving at.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I have no idea what you're doing over there.
I'm waving goodbye to somebody. The window.
It's really time for you to go to bed.
It is. It's midnight. It's my bedtime. I'm gonna turn into, I turn into a pumpkin at midnight if I don't go to bed. So.
Yeah.
All right. Good night, all. Catch you next time. Bye. I didn't do the end stream thing.
That's okay.
I'm sad.